Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Become the Strongest Being in Multiverse Season 2 Part 6. Before we start, please go support John 354 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chap. 76. Gabriel. Something's wrong with him. She said it scared since she noticed the sadness in the eyes of the young people. Shin. Although apparently 17 years old, we are actually more than 300 years old. The girls opened their eyes wide upon hearing that because they didn't think so much time had passed. Miyuki. 2chan went on a mission years ago and never came back. Kichigami. What kind of mission? Miyuki. He didn't tell us. Showing a hologram where Issei was with them before his departure, and the girls noticed that he had not changed much, except for a mark on his forehead that seemed strange to them, but they left it aside. Issei. Fine, I'll go, see you later. 2chan, it won't take long, right? Issei got down on his knees and hugged his daughter with a tear. Issei. I don't know. Getting up and saying goodbye to the girls where they in turn noticed other people present. Enemu? Issei, seriously, you're going to do that? Issei. There are things that are inevitable. At that, Issei started walking and in a second he disappeared. Oku. Days passed and he didn't come back, and it seemed strange to us since he stopped taking long trips so he could train us. Maundered. The days passed and then the months where our mothers began to worry since it had never taken too long. Miyuki. My mother returned to her palace after so many years and she started looking for him but nothing. Oku. My mother too, but they didn't find any results. Hayato. Our little sister is the one who suffers the most since she is the most attached to father. But Iri-on-san started searching and every time she felt bad. Valerie. Many enemies appeared again and the case started again. Lucy. We have had fights with our brothers but they still come out more. Our father maintained balance. Then Zayton. From what I saw in the hologram, Issei was aware that she would not return. Lucina. What kind of mission he must have had. Naruko. There's something wrong here. Naruto. And that would be. Naruko. What level of Fuinjutsu do you have? Naruto. Well, without father's guidance, I only reached level 9 and well, you're looking for father. Naruko. I see this is just my opinion, but her memories were altered. Beidos. Why do you think that? Naruko. Well, as you know, Issei never takes so long on his missions and he doesn't cry when he says goodbye, plus we were aware of what we were going to do and we didn't stop him. Serafal. We would have stopped him or at least one of us would have gone with him. Miyuki. So. Naruko. Although my Fuinjutsu is bad, let me try. Approaching her future son and putting his hand on her forehead, a seal was activated and Naruko was expelled, leaving several people surprised. Plus someone came out of a smoke bomb. Kurama. Don't try it anymore, brat, he has a very powerful seal. Naruko. Then I'm right. Kurama. It is a unique seal since only its creator or its children could destroy it, but I noticed that they are still weak. Lucy. Then why did 2chan do this to us? Pagaya. You will know that in time if Issei did that for a reason. I guess he didn't want to make them suffer. Oku. This is really confusing, but now we know what to do and that will be to train your Naruto and Himawari and Alex more. Naruto. I'll do what I can. Rafia. Well, I have to go get the girls from the academy. Kunu. What are you planning to do? Miyuki. We want to explore a little and spend time with you. And knowing more about 2chan, I also love hearing the story of how they met. Oku. Although with some of you it didn't go very well, saying haha. Mikishin. You are strong boy. You must have trained a lot. Oku. I would say enough that you have no mercy for me, even though I have barely mastered 10% of my power. You told me that I am centuries away from having your power. Mikishin. Maybe it was because your father is from another race and he is not an angel like me, but at your age he is not bad. You are worthy of being my future son. But what about that name? Oku. Hehehe, as you told me, father did a mission and he met a friend and his name was that. Hayato. Same with mine, he told me that he met him by chance and at that moment they became friends. Besides, he fought with Claire Cossan for him. Claire. I already remembered who they're talking about. Miyuki. On my part it was from his sister, she also told me that she always treated him well. He almost never told us much since he wanted us to see them with our own eyes. Hiroka. From what I saw, Eri is very pretty when she grows up. Valerie. And there is no shortage of suitors, but she rejects them all, since she herself would not have a partner if she was not like her father, so strong she is. Yukin. That will be impossible. Lucy. Most of us think like this, we want someone like 2chan who is amazing. Hiroka. What makes me happy is that I was finally able to have my kittens. Tsukiyomi. Maybe they plan to stay alone forever. Lucy. Most of you spent many years without anyone until you met 2chan. So there is no rush. Miyuki. Exactly because of some of my brothers who go girl after girl. When the women heard that, they saw men present and they were scared. Office. Wow, then I have to be heavy-handed. Hey Otto. Wait, Ka-san. She said it with fear since she saw Office's serious eyes, and that scared him since in her time she is very happy. Shin. Ka-san, wait, they guide me. Arena. I'm surprised you didn't fall. Shin. Hey, maybe it's because of my father. Mikishin. I must plan my training and education better. Lefei. Maybe Issei didn't educate them. When the boys heard that, they got on their knees asking for forgiveness. Valerie. Hey, when Tu-chan finds out about that, he punishes them since he doesn't like them playing with other people's feelings. Naruto. Well, we haven't found the right one yet. Serafal. Let's put this topic aside better. There have already been many things and we also know more than we should. Astrid. And my son behaves like he does. Shin. He is like Grandpa Odin since he takes him secretly. Astrid. I'll have to keep him away from the best one. At that time some girls went to cook while the young people looked at some albums that they had not seen before. Special chapter. It has nothing to do with the story, I hope you enjoy it. Issei was waking up since moments ago she was sleeping next to her daughter after a long training and now she was in an unknown place. Anyone there? Issei. Yes, and who are you? At that moment 19 lights turned on showing 19 boys where everyone looked around without understanding what was happening there until they heard a voice. I see that everyone is already awake. Who are you? I was recently with one of my suitors. She was on a mission. I know you have a lot of questions, but everyone is here only for one reason. And that would be. Or at that moment a light that pointed to Issei turned red to attract everyone's attention. I want to test that boy since he dared to take my daughter. Issei upon hearing that opened his eyes wide and the rest were surprised for this reason. Issei. This one. My daughter was someone very serious who only focused on her work until she met her, she changed a lot. And I'm talking about Chichigami. Issei. Then you are. You have no right to call me father, I do not approve of you, since you are not worthy of being with her. Issei. I see, and what do I have to do to have her approval? The answer is easy, prove it here and now by defeating everyone present and maybe they will approve of you, but remember they are not as weak as you think. And we who win with such nonsense. Returning alive is more than enough. But before the fight starts it is better that you know your rivals, I will give you time. Without waiting for a response, everything lit up and they only noticed white everywhere. Issei. Well, it's my fault they're here, I'm sorry. Okay, it's normal for a father to know how strong his daughter's partner is, and I would do the same since I have a daughter. I don't have a daughter, but I do have a cousin, so it's almost the same I guess. Issei. I'm glad to hear that and forgive my manners, my name is Igarashi Issei. How curious, I also have that name, except that I have the last name Haidu. Issei. Seriously, although I had it years ago, but my family took it away from me. This gives me a bad feeling. Issei. You are from other dimensions as I see. I see you're used to it. Issei. And gone to two. I went to one and the guy was an idiot. I confirm. Issei. I won't deny it besides the fact that he was a pervert. But if we all have the same name we must use another one so as not to get confused. It sounds good and since we are almost the same I will say who I was before. I was just a normal boy raised by his grandmother until she died and I went to study in the United States until I had an accident and met two guys who gave me their skills and well the rest is history. You can call me Goho. Giving a smile to the group. I didn't have a good relationship with my parents and worse with my brothers along with their partners and to get rid of me, they threw me in a portal for 12,000 years until I met Zero and well, he also gave me his power. Can you tell me Zero? Regarding him. I was bored with wars and decided to reincarnate so that there would be peace. My name is Haidu Issei, but in my world they called me Anos Voldigid, so you can call me that. I am a descendant of the first demon, and well where I come from there are only wars until the enemy overcame us, and well my brothers saved me by sending me somewhere else to be in the human world. You can call me Akaza for my brother. My father is the biblical god and I am his first son, and as a mission he gave me to see how humans develop until on one occasion I came across two celestial dragons, and we fought where I lost and fell in a cold place and was frozen. Hundreds of years. They can call me Elohim since that is my father's name. I was lucky enough to be reincarnated in another world, my name is Haidu Issei, but previously I was called Shisui Uchiha, so you can call me that. I am Nordic and well I have a normal life, I guess my name is Issei Heraldon, so you can call me by my last name. The truth is that I had the luck of Goho, and I had the skills of two great people, Arthur and Merlin, and well, I get along well with my parents and sisters, except with my brother. You can call me Arthur after one of my friends and teachers. I am a demon from the Haidu clan who possesses darkness magic, but my family hated me, so they cast me away and well when I was about to die burned by them, an ancestor saved me and sent me to the human world, where he met Arena and his family, and well they adopted me, so they can call me Shidu. Mine is short, an old man threw me out on the street, he took care of me and trained me, and I found out that I had the first true longinus, since from where I see there are two, plus I have God Slayer magic and well, in the future, forgive me to my family, and I have a good relationship with them, and one more thing, my sister is my partner, you can call me Wolf, since that is my last name. Some were surprised to hear that and others were not since well, they also had a relationship like that. Well I have a similar life as Shidu, since my family is demon, and well I went to the human world, where by accident I met two phoenixes, and well they gave me their abilities, like some people might call me a phoenix. I reincarnate as the boy named Issei since I was previously a cultivator named Chen Fan, so you can call me that. Well, I was born in the time where the factions fought, and I was from a small town where I went to see the fights out of curiosity, but on one occasion I saw how the leaders killed two dragons, and when they finished they left their bodies, and well I wanted to burn, so that no one would find out about the supernatural, but when I got closer they exploded in my face, and well I got their abilities. I don't have a last name since I didn't know my parents, but you can call me Citri since my first partner is Seraphol. I did not have a good childhood, my parents never gave me anything, and I had to get ahead on my own until to save my brothers I died with them, and thanks to Sona who reincarnated me as a demon, I was able to have a second chance to live, but over time, those on the council kicked me out of their group since they said I was only tarnishing their name, and they said that my older brother was the one who did everything. I found a book that just by touching it entered my body, and from that book came a sword that can repel magic, and they can call me Ouroboros after my partner Office. I was not loved by my parents and brothers since I was born blind, and many times I was insulted for my condition, but I knew how to get ahead, and over time I made many friends who supported me, and I have the sword of God where he left his last will, where I was able to defend myself with it until I died, since my body could not handle so much power, but the biblical God gave me another chance, only this time with the opportunity to occupy his position, and they can call me an angel is the only thing that occurred to me hey. Elohim was surprised to know that since where he came from, none of that happened. I had the same problem as many, the truth is, where I was having a terrible time with my family, more so with my brother where he told a girl that he would play with me until I saw him kissing. I felt bad until after crying so much I fell asleep and met Kurama. And he trained me to this day, and they can call me Uzumaki in honor of his best friend. Shisui, Anos and Issei were surprised by that since they knew about Kurama, but they didn't say anything for the moment. I was raised by my grandmother like Goho until she died, only I continued with my normal life in Kao where my brother along with his friends mistreated me, and on one occasion I met a girl named Rainer, and well she killed me, but a girl named Yu saved me and turned me into a zombie, so you can call me zombie haha. We have some things in common since well my family hates my guts since on one occasion they almost killed me until my grandfather arrived and took me to the hospital, and after being discharged, he told me that he could train me and I accepted where it was difficult, but after a few years I achieved it and I had the opportunity to be someone, and you can call me Jichiro for someone. Goho. Wow, most of them are hated by their brothers since, well, some of them don't have, but what things don't. Now I understand why we are here. Jichiro. And you get along with them. Goho. Puff, those clones don't hate me at all, but it doesn't matter, plus one of them takes away the woman he's interested in, being Roswis. Wolf upon hearing that raised his thumb in respect. 0. And you are the last one, you can tell us something about yourself too. Everyone turned their gaze to Issei. Issei. Well, my family left me and I went ahead alone. I trained day and night to show that humans are also strong, and over the years I reached my limit and they returned as if nothing had happened and well, I left home and started doing missions for distract myself, and well, I met many people in the process. My older brother challenged me to a raiding game and, well, I won, which only made him hate me more. 0. You've had it difficult. Issei. Not as much as you haha. Over time I just fought and met the girls being my partners and made some trips where I met Chichigami. Besides killing my brother. Everyone was surprised when they heard that as they did not expect that. Goho. You are amazing, you have my respect. Issei. But Rizavam revived him with more power, plus my old parents joined him just to kill me, my sister where we were they started to have a good relationship, but my older brother killed her, and I only saw her die in my arms. And well, I killed him again, only this time without returning to being revived. I decided to train more to be able to protect my loved ones, and well I did that recently with my daughter. Shidu. You have a daughter, you look very young. Issei. Hahaha I have 5 daughters and a little sister. Wolf. You have my respect brothers, you are the best. Goho. I say the same, you deserve my respect. Phoenix. You look too young to have children like most of us. Issei. I have 5,002,135. She said it while she scratched the back of her head with a smile. The rest, upon hearing such an age, were surprised since it surpassed almost everyone. Zombie. Wait, how is that possible? You're human, just like most of them. Issei. I made a lot of trips and well by mistake I had several things. Goho. Brother, you are the best of all here, the truth is you are the supreme Issei. Ouroboros. Goho is right, you have that title. Issei. Don't say that. I also have to say this and your Zero really looks like someone who is like a brother to me, his name is Tang-san. Zero. Wow, what a surprise. Tell me, I can see what your daughters are like. The truth is, I'm a little curious. Issei nodded with a big smile and took a photo of his daughters and sisters where they were surprised at how cute they were. Issei asked Elohim to show what his daughter and Goho's cousin looked like. Anos. This is new, the truth is I honestly didn't think this would happen in my life. Heraldin. I think the same is a lot to process. Anos. I can see what your partners are like. Everyone nodded and many showed holograms and Issei photos where almost everyone was surprised by their partners since many had the same ones. Goho. I won't lie, we have good tastes hahaha. Wolf. I see that we are all fascinated by the magical girl. Zombie. Wait, I only have you. Goho approached him and placed his hand on his shoulder. Goho. When you meet her you will understand why she is unique. Several nodded in confirmation. Ouroboros. Wait, but I only get along with Serafal, we don't have that relationship. Heraldin. I say the same thing. Uzumaki. I know her but not for that. Yuichiro. Also, she just helps me a lot. Genfan. It's childish. Akaza. I've only seen it like 3 times I think. When the others heard that they looked serious and the group instinctively fell to their knees. Wolf. Shame. Goho. Disgrace. Arthur. Disgrace. When the others saw that, they only felt a drop of sweat because of such a thing. Goho. You idiots don't know what they're losing. Wolf. And that childish attitude is great. Phoenix. I think the same. Issei. Come on guys, don't say that, you can't force them to love you. Wolf and Goho just come to the other side while whistling. The others present only thought the same thing, and that is that they are both crazy. Angel. Seriously they did it like that. Goho. No comments. Wolf. Besides, I have something more important to say. Citri. And that would be. Wolf. Both Arthur, Anos, Zero have a great harem, guys they are the best. Goho. You're right, but if we talk about harem we have the supreme Issei in that. Everyone saw Issei and just confirmed. Wolf. I promise you that when I return I will follow your example. Akaza. Why not? Issei. Guys, don't go too far. Goho. You are very humble Issei, I think you are purer than Elohim and Angel. Elohim. I cannot confirm that since I cannot read his heart. You hide your feelings very well. Shisui. But seeing an angel with 2 partners is rare. Elohim. Just because he is an angel doesn't mean he can't. I don't know why everyone thinks that father is someone pure since everyone has his flaw and one of them was with Azazel. Goho. I confirm it's too curious. Zero. Besides, he likes Gabriel. Los just nodded at that. The group continued talking to get to know each other better and each time they got along better, they even laughed together at their craziness. Until the fun ended by a voice. They had enough time to get to know each other. Issei. The truth is yes, but please don't do this because someone could die. No one will die and whoever loses will be teleported to some stands to watch the fight. Phoenix. Sounds good. Then it's time to know who is the best. Goho. They won't have it easy, but I'm not bragging, but I'm pretty strong. Taking off his vengeance showing 1 blue eye and 1 red eye. Angel changed his eyes to golden ones and Shisui activated the Sharingan. Wolf. It will be interesting. Taking out the true long eyeness and putting God Slayer magic on it. The robber summoned his sword ready for action and Citri activated his purple armor. Elohim activated his golden armor and Zero activated his with a hammer and handle, surprising the rest. Phoenix changed his appearance to that of fire. Issei thoughts. Damn you all have great weapons and armor are cool. In addition to having unique abilities. Arthur transformed into Arthur and summoned Excalibur where Issei was surprised by that. Ichiro took out his katana and took an attack position. Azaka returned to his true demonic form as he meant business. Uzumaki went into chakra mode where Issei and Anos noticed that. Anos for his part was calm as always. And so the rest followed. Goho. And your supreme Issei, what's good about you since you have the title for a reason? Issei. You guys gave me such a thing. Guys, I'll tell you something before I start this. Heraldin. What a thing. Issei. I hope you can help me polish my skills, since the truth is I'm very excited about this fight. Ahahahaha one thing before starting this one. Wolf. What? I see that you already admire this boy and I will show you his battles so that you do not trust him. Showing a hologram where everyone watched his massacres with only their fists, leaving several in shock and even more so, Heraldon seeing how he killed an army of giants was in shock since he did it alone. But every fight he showed everyone was more shocked by his unique abilities and Shisui didn't know what to say since he saw that he also had the Sharingan and the Rinnegan and everyone saw how he destroyed planets with just a touch. Goho. Wait man, that's crazy. Wolf. What the hell are you? I couldn't even imagine in better dreams. Gen Fan. I have seen unique things and you are at their level. Goho. Don't buck around, you just caused death in your wake, you know, you're worse than me. The title of Supreme Issei falls short, guys get together we must talk. The others nodded and went to a more secluded place and began to murmur and minutes later they returned. Goho. We talked about it and by vote you will have the title of Issei, a divine being. Issei. No thanks. At that he saw how a screen appeared in front of him, where he was surprised since he had not seen it for a long time, since he returned with Raphtalia and the rest to his world, and he was only surprised to see 2 new titles on his list. Issei the Supreme. The Divine Being. Upon reading such titles he fell to his knees for such a thing while the rest just laughed. Anos. You are strong but you won't have it easy. Arthur. We noticed some skills, but he didn't show us all of them so we'll go all out. Well everyone to his position. The group separated and took an attack position and at that point the stranger began the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and to fight. Everyone upon hearing that launched an attack where they went straight to Issei where the first to arrive was Wolf but Issei stopped the spear with his hand. Wolf. Doesn't it hurt you? God Slayer has magic. Issei. I learned it by mistake too. Picking him, sending him away from the place. At that I created some clones and they saw Issei and nodded. Clone 1. 100 on. Clone 2. Come to me Rita. Clone 3. God-killing hammer. Lightning strikes him and shows a hammer, leaving Zero surprised by their similarity. Another clone activated the spiritual bone armor and others took out the true Longinus, leaving several in shock since they did not see that. Goho. Shit, you have a lot of tricks. Joining his hands. Goho. Domain extension. Infinite void. Where the only one locked up was Issei. Goho. This was all interesting, but it all ends here since no one leaves here. Issei only saw to the sides and how many things began to come to his mind. Goho. You don't see it. Issei. Everything is interesting. Goho. So you can talk that's weird since without my permission he can do something. Issei began to walk towards where Goho was surprised and went to attack him, but he was only received with a blow to the stomach. Issei extended both hands and gave a big applause destroying Goho's dominance, leaving him in shock. As he left, he noticed how Shisui was facing him with his eyes. Shisui. You're ready. Making seals with his hands and summoning 6 corpses. Issei. Interesting, really. Activating their Rinnegan where they both launched an attack fighting with Taijutsu. Shisui. You're good. Issei. I say the same, but I have things to do. Shisui just gave him a half smile and took a step back and noticed that his summons had been destroyed. At that he activated the Susanoo and Issei smiled and activated his as well, both of them bumping fists. Phoenix. For being just clones, they are annoying. Ouroboros. My power doesn't work much on them. Wolf. He has the true Longinus too, this is crazy. Anos. He is a worthy rival. Going on the attack too. Minutes passed where many large explosions were happening. Hours later some were tired as they couldn't keep up. Ouroboros. I give up, I can't handle this. I wish you luck guys. Where he was teleported to some stands and could see the fight. Both Zero and Citri entering their dragon phase going on the attack. Issei, noticing this, activated his spiritual form, taking both dragons by the neck where his hands glowed a little, making them both scream in pain. Zero. You have Dragon Slayer magic. Issei. I'm sorry. Yuichiro. Tense stance. The Dragon of Change. Wanting to take Issei by surprise since he was also reaching his limit as well. Issei turned around quickly and crouched down and gave a big blow to Yuichiro, causing a hole to be made, leaving several in shock where he was teleported to the stands and his abdomen was seen where he was as if nothing had happened, letting out a sigh. At that Issei disappeared all the clones and the boys saw Issei. Issei. Guys, I'm sorry, but I want to see my daughter. I don't want her to be scared by not seeing me. Wolf. Then it's all or nothing. Issei just smiled and joined both hands and let out a long sigh. Issei. True body divine released. At that moment, his body began to glow and after a few seconds they saw Issei in a golden color. Gen Fan. You have my respects if you went to the fairy world and were quickly recognized. Issei extended both hands and summoned a staff. Goho. You won't have it easy, her brother. Watching the boys where they all nodded and used their best skills where Goho joined red and blue making purple. Nyx created 2 large birds of fire and ice with all his power, and Heraldon created several magic circles ready for the attack like the rest. Seconds later everyone combined their attacks against Issei and launched him where he only dropped the staff. Issei. 10th skill. End of time. Dropping the staff where just by hitting the ground he caused a huge explosion colliding with the other abilities and destroying them completely. Below him opened his eyes and noticed his brothers near him. Wolf. So we lost, it was worth seeing. Go-ho. I am strong but you are something else. Gen Fan. My cultivation was low, perhaps with all my power I could have lasted longer. Good. He was going to continue where everyone heard a female voice where Issei was happy. Kichigami. Father, what the hell are you doing? Daughter, I do this for you. Kichigami. Issei is busy and you go out with your nonsense, you better go, I'll take care of it. But. Kichigami. Now or I'll tell mom. Without waiting for a response, he ran out of the place where no one knew what to say until they saw a pink-haired woman in front of them. Issei. Me. Kichigami. Don't worry, I'll talk to him about such nonsense later. And sorry for bothering you. Bowing where some instinctively tried to lower their gaze, but Issei punched them. Wolf. The Sister Institute. Citri. Not long ago I went through my season and I still can't control myself. Issei. I see, since I only heard hit me. They both got down on their knees as did others. Eyes. Sorry Issei-sama. He just let out a sigh at such nonsense and Kichigami just smiled and created many portals. Kichigami. Enter and you can return to where you were. The boys nodded and began to say goodbye. Go-ho. Remember one thing, never show your weakness, show who's in charge for something, you have the name Issei. And they are followers of the divine being. He said the last thing with some mockery where Issei gave him a blow that sent him to his portal where he said goodbye to everyone. The rest walked to theirs and left, leaving the couple. Issei. How are things? Kichigami. Well, how is my daughter? Issei. Learn quickly. But I better go before he notices me. Approaching her and giving her a goodbye kiss and entering her portal, returning to where he was previously. Chap. 77. A week had passed and the girls got to know their sons a little since they didn't want to know more than normal, while the girls were surprised to know that they came from the future and wanted to know more, but the girls didn't let them. Kichigami. I know you want to see Issei again, but his brothers must return to their time and are still waiting for them. Miyuki. I know, Mom, because if we stay here we can change many things, plus Iri 1E-sen could make me angry. Goku. It's really scary when he gets upset. Pagaya. She is a very sweet girl, don't say that. Naruto. That's now, you'll see later. At that point the boys approached their mothers and seconds later they returned to their time, only without being able to see their father. Enemu. It was good to know a little. Mocha. What must have happened to Issei for her not to return after so many years? Gabriel. That doesn't matter since if that happens we will stop it. Athena. Because we better go on their trips, it will be something fun. Isabella. I refuse since I would only go to fight and I don't feel like it. Aurelia. You are right, in my kingdom she hid because of the false accusations. Vados. When the time comes we have to talk about it. Isaka. Well, I'll go since I left a lot of paperwork behind. Hunu. Come on, I'll help you and help me prepare. Raftalia. I can go, I want to see what it's like. Philo. Me too. Isaka. Sure, let's go. Seraphol. And I'm going to relax since I don't have any more work. Just saying that I notice how all the girls left except Graphia and Belfast. Graphia. None of that is time to clean house. Seraphol. You're kidding, right? Maybe you don't see how giant he is and we can also use magic. Belfast. None of the magic will be old-fashioned, so put on your suit and clean up. Seraphol. Now that I remembered I have something to do. Getting up and wanting to leave her, but Graphia grabbed her by the collar of her shirt and dragged her to her destination. Meanwhile Issei was training Iri since she decided to take some days off. Issei. I notice something sad about you, daughter. Iri. I like training with you too, Chan, but I miss my other moms since it's been a long time, and also playing with my sisters. Issei. I see, and I'm glad you think that way since I would like you to have a very happy childhood and not just train. Iri. So. She said it with a big smile. Issei. How about we go back home? Iri jumped with excitement upon hearing that because although she likes training with her dad, she liked being with others more. Issei. But Kian Renksu must stay since she will be training right now. Iri. I understand, but we can see her before we leave at least. Issei just nodded and sent Iri to her room to pick up her things to go see Kian Renksu. Issei went to her room and created a clone with the power of the lightning god where he left the mark on the clone. Issei. Your mission will be to complete all the exams and take care of Kian Renksu if something happens to her, and if so you know what to do. Clone. That's how it will be, boss. Issei. I left you the hammer to help you with training, I guess it's more than enough. The clone just nodded. Issei. You know what to do when you get the rings. Clone. Yes, I'll put them to the hammer. Issei. Well, go train with the boys since I won't tell them anything. Without waiting for a response she left her room and the clone left the place. Minutes later Eri was with her backpack ready to leave where Issei took her in his arms and they left the place. An hour later they arrived at her destination and entered secretly since Issei did not want unnecessary fights, especially not in front of her daughter. They both arrived at a room where they saw Qian Rengsu cultivating and when she opened her eyes she saw those present. Qian Rengsu. Something bad is happening. Eri went to her giving her a hug which she reciprocated. Issei. I'll go with Eri back to the house since she misses the others. Qian Rengsu. It's been obvious for several months now. So. Issei. I left a clone to continue with the training and I want you to stay too since from what I see your exam has started. Qian Rengsu. Okay, but when I'm ready to leave, you'll come and get me. Issei. Yes. Approaching her and giving her a hug where Eri joined in a familiar hug. After that they talked a little and both headed off while Qian Rengsu decided to train harder to go with them. Issei. Daughter, before we leave, do you want to go for a walk a little? Eri. Seriously we can sense the truth is it is a very nice place. Issei took her in her arms and put her on her shoulders and they began their walk. In the other dimension Yasaka and company were in the office filling out papers until Riftalia joined them so they could go out to explore. Who knew? Mother, I already thought about it and I don't want the position. Yasaka. I'm sorry, my daughter, but I already had it for many years and now I have to relax just like you did. Who knew? It will be boring. Riftalia. I'll help you with whatever I can. Who knew? Thank you very much. What do you think if you become my right hand? Yes. Riftalia. But I still don't know many things. Yasaka. I will help you and I like that idea since I would have someone I trust. Riftalia. If so, I accept. Kunu was about to respond until they heard the alarm and seconds later the door opened. Isaka-sama we are being attacked. Isaka. Any idea who they are? It's the Cows Brigade and there are many of them and evil dragons come with them. The three of them became serious. Isaka. Move the men and have them deal with the civilians first. Kunu. Mom, I'll go help the soldiers. Riftalia. I'll go with you. Isaka. Be careful. I'll call the leaders and the girls. They both nodded and left the place. Minutes later the leaders were sending many of their soldiers to help and the girls also went since they did not want Yasaka, Kunu and Riftalia to get hurt. Except Office who stayed at the house since she was going to take care of the girls. Kichigami was about to go help but she heard Issei call her and without thinking twice she opened the portal and the first thing she did was hug him with all her strength since she remembered what they told her before. Seeing Eri she also gave her a hug since she also missed her. Issei. Something's wrong. Kichigami. I just missed them, but where is Qian Rengsu? Issei. I'll tell you then let's go with the others. Kichigami. Eri, you can go to the house, Office and the girls are there. She just nodded and Kichigami created a portal for her. Issei. Something's wrong. Kichigami. The Yakai faction is being attacked and I was about to leave, but you called me. Issei. Then let's go. Kichigami just nodded and created the portal where they both entered. Minutes before Yasaka was giving orders from the throne room until he heard the door explode and he saw many people enter, but there was one that made him tremble. Hey, I'm back home, my wife. Chap. 78. Seeing that person, Yasaka went blank since he thought that he would never see that person again. Don't make that face, dear, aren't you happy to see me? Yasaka. How dare you come back here Davin. Davin. I wanted to see you and my daughter again, but I found out you got engaged. Maybe you're an idiot. Yasaka. You don't have the right to say that. I will never forgive you for everything you did to me. She said it very seriously, something that surprised Davin since in the past he was always afraid of her. Davin. I don't like that attitude, it's time I tamed you again. Giving the order that her soldiers will finish off those Yasaka had while he went to her. Yasaka noticed that he was coming where she took an attack position since on this occasion she would not be guided by the past. Davin on his part had a big smile because when he saw Yasaka again, he noticed how well taken care of she was. He quickly went to her wanting to take her from behind, but to her surprise, she reacted in time and hit him in the face. Yasaka. My fiancé is someone who has many fighting styles and I asked him to teach me a little since in the past I relied a lot on my magic. Davin. Damn how you dare to touch me. The only thing you should touch about me is my member. Yasaka upon hearing that just made a face of disgust at such words. Davin got up and launched the attack where she only defended herself and with a little opportunity she attacked too. Minutes passed and Yasaka had some injuries. Yasaka. Reinforcements will be coming soon. Davin just smiled at that and took out a syringe and injected it into him. Yasaka had an idea of what was going on since she had been told about such a thing before. In addition to her, she looked around her and noticed that her soldiers were on the ground and how they were all coming against her. Davin. First I'm going to have fun with you and then I'll leave you to them. She was about to say something, but then Davin went against her and threw her on the ground. Isaka was about to hit him, but Davin's soldiers grabbed her hands and legs to stop her from exerting any strength. Davin ripped the front of Yusaka's kimono, exposing her breasts. Davin. Not bad. She just shed a tear because of what was going to happen and she was about to commit suicide so that nothing would happen. Isaka thought. Forgive me, Issei. Davin was about to touch her chest, but at that moment the wall was destroyed. Seconds before Issei was with most of the girls until she felt Isaka's aura diminish and without wasting time he went to her where the girls followed him. Issei didn't think twice, she destroyed everything in her path until she arrived at the place and destroyed the wall, and when she saw Yusaka, he became upset like never before seeing her cry. Issei. How dare you touch my wife and make her cry. Davin was about to say something, but Issei beat her to it, grabbing her by the neck and leading her away, while the girls finished off the remaining soldiers and helped her. Kunu. Sorry mom for being late. Isaka. Everything happened, don't worry. Giving him a hug that Kunu reciprocated with some tears. For her part, Issei dragged Davin's face all over the pavement with great force. Issei. I will make you suffer from her for making her cry and for doing such things to her, I will not forgive you. Lifting him by the neck with a look that only said death. Davin. I can do whatever I want since she's my wife. Hearing what she said, Issei became even more upset since she remembered when Yusaka told him about her past. Issei. All the more reason I'll kill you. Throwing it into the air and kicking it, destroying everything in its path. Several enemies approached Issei where he summoned true longiness, since what he least wanted was to waste time with obstacles. In an instant he killed everyone around him and started walking towards his enemy. Mocha. Issei is very upset. And Zayton. The way he treated Yusaka was obvious. Najire. But I was surprised to see him here. Kichigami. He will tell us later, for now we have to continue so that there is no more damage. The group nodded and left the place. While Issei was hitting Davin several times in the face, each blow destroyed his face. But before almost killing him, Issei healed him, leaving him as if nothing had happened, and the torture began. The only thing that didn't cure him was the pain, so he felt it much worse every time. Issei. I'll make you suffer, damn it. What I hate most is having my family touched. You can go against anyone but except my family. Letting out his fury using only his strength since he didn't want to use any of his abilities. The minutes passed and Davin just yelled for him to stop, but Issei didn't pay any attention and continued with his thing. After that he lifted him by the neck. Issei. I hope you rot wherever you end up. Putting Hakai in his hand where Davin started to scream in pain, but Issei didn't pay any attention and did it slowly to watch him suffer. Issei. This is for everything you did to Yusaka all those years. Until he saw how his body slowly disappeared. Issei only saw the destruction in front of him, but he put it aside since he wanted to go to Yusaka to see her where he began to run at a high speed. Upon arriving at his destination, he saw the group of girls in the throne room since everything was over. Isaka, upon seeing Issei, shed some tears where he went to her to give her a hug. Isaka. Sorry. Issei. That's what I should say. Since I did it again, I'm late, I'm an idiot. Margarita. Issei is also our fault for not coming with her. Hiroka. They'll just delay us to give that guy time. Kunu. I should have stayed. Isaka. As Issei said, everything is in the past, yes. Kunu, could you calm everyone down since I'm not feeling well? Kunu. Don't worry. Issei. I'll take you to our house. Isaka just nodded and Issei took her in her arms and they left the place with the other girls, where only Kunu and Mikishin stayed since with her, it is more than enough to stop anyone who approached. Chap. 79. The group returned to the house where Issei took Yusaka to her room without the girls noticing her, since she did not want to worry them. When they arrived he laid her down slowly with a half smile to calm her down. Issei. You need something. Isaka. I just want you to hug me so I forget all that. Issei lay down next to her where they both saw each other and Yusaka approached Issei until he put her face on his chest and Issei, for her part, caressed her silky blonde hair. Issei. It will never bother you again. Isaka. I thought that would be the end of me since I didn't want that to happen. Issei didn't respond and continued stroking her hair until minutes later she fell asleep. While the girls decided not to bother him since they wanted to leave both of them. The next day Issei woke up early and went down to the kitchen to prepare something for Yusaka, where minutes later she was waking up and noticed that Issei was not in bed. She was about to get up, but she saw the door open and it was Issei with a tray of food. Issei. How are you? Yusaka. Much better, thank you. Issei. I'm glad to hear that. Approaching him and giving him the food where there was enough for both of them. At the end of breakfast they both went down and most of them were already there where they went to give Issei a hug since they couldn't before due to the battle. The girls got up and saw Issei and quickly went to her. Liza. Ani-chan, when you came back. Issei. Yesterday night, but you were already asleep. Melty. Seriously. Issei. Yep. Yui. 2-chan, don't lie, since Iri came earlier. Issei. It's just that she came before, haha, right, daughter. Iri. Yes, 2-chan is right, and we train a lot. Pretending to train. Where the women present couldn't help but see her with tenderness because of how she looked. Philo. 2-chan, I have something to tell you. Issei. And that. Philo. We have more brothers. Giving her a photo where she saw the group from the future where Issei was surprised to see them. Kichigami. You want to know what's going on? Issei. I would like to, but I prefer surprises. Vigaya. I thought you would say that. Siko. And where is Kian Renksu? Issei. She stayed training and her exam had just started, and when she finishes I will return. Bernald. I see, I hope it goes well, but leaving that aside, tell us how it went for you and little Iri. They both nodded where they went to the living room and told their story where the girls were surprised to learn that he was the successor of Zeus. And they were happy to see Iri with her first skill. Minutes later everyone left to do their own thing except Issei, who approached a person. Issei. It's time to fulfill my promise, so tell me where you want to go. Valerie. I know it's a childish thing to say, but we can go to an amusement park. Issei noticed her blush as he said, and she just nodded. Issei. Sure, sounds good. Valerie. I'll go change. She left quickly with a big smile, since she had been waiting for that day for a long time. Minutes later they both said goodbye to the rest and headed down the road where Issei took her hand, and they both teleported to a large place where she was fascinated by everything she saw. Issei. Where do you want to go first? Valerie. To the carousel. Taking Issei's hand and going to the place, time passed, and it was only joy for both of them where the hours passed. Valerie. It was a great day, I will never forget it. Issei. We can come another time. Valerie. Yes, but next time we can come with the rest. Issei. Sure, it will be interesting. Valerie. Issei, you will never leave, right? She said it with a sad look since she remembered what her daughter told her. Issei. I can't promise that. Valerie. Because. Issei. Nothing is eternal, Valerie, even if we are immortal, everything has an end. But don't worry, there's still a long way to go until then. Valerie. We are going to prevent that day from coming. Hearing that, Issei just smiled and caressed her head, and then they returned to the house where the girls asked Valerie for the details of the date. Later the girls went to sleep while the group stayed in the living room talking about trivial things. Mikishin. Issei, you don't want to go explore other universes like before. Issei. I already put that aside and I prefer not to. Margarita. Boo, you're boring. Issei. The reason is easy, and it is because you sometimes got out of control and destroyed everything. You seemed more like the gods of destruction than me, ha 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 ha. Mikishin. They picked on me. Issei. I know, the same with most of you. Seeing everyone where most avoided her gaze. Issei, noticing that, only had a drop of sweat break out because of her behavior. He was about to say something, but then a box appeared in front of them with a note that Issei took. Issei. It's from Surzich. Opening it and reading what he said in his mind, and at the end the girls noticed how he squeezed the letter and they got an idea of what he was. Issei. Since when is all this coming? She said it, letting out a sigh to calm down. Seraphol. The day I was going to resign my position, the council wanted to force me to get married, since previously Mayu's position kept me away from that scare. Issei. I see, and what happened? Seraphol. There was a raiding game with that person, and I fought alongside some girls. Putting on a hologram of the battle, and Issei was glad that they will be wearing his suits. Issei. They like me. Lucina. It's very beautiful, thank you. Isabella. Not bad, it's worthy of this queen. Ingvald. Thanks to that my power increased much more. Issei. I see, but it's time to solve this problem. Gabriel. Issei, what are you going to do? He did not respond and got up from his seat and left the place, leaving the girls in doubt. Astrid. Where did he go? Laviana. I guess he went to the underworld. Astrid. And if we go? Brunhild. Nah, they deserve it for doing such nonsense. The others didn't say anything since Brunhild was right. Meanwhile Issei was at the gates of Lucifer Castle, where the Lairs let him pass since they knew about him. Issei walked through the castle towards an office and opened it suddenly where Surzich was scared. Surzich. Issei, what brings you here? Issei. Sorry for how I came in, but I want to talk to you. About those letters. Surzich. I knew this day would come. What you will do. Issei. I want to have a meeting where everyone is present and I talk about the civilians. Surzich. What are you planning? Issei. Just please do it and tomorrow you will know. Surzich didn't say anything else and nodded, and Issei gave a small bow and left the place where Surzich started making calls to the other leaders. When he got home the girls asked him several questions, but he just smiled and he went to his room, leaving the girls wondering. The next day the large family was having breakfast until Issei received the message that everything was ready from Surzuch. Issei. Girls, we're going to the underworld. Tsukiyomi. And that. Issei. You'll see. The girls did not say anything else, and everyone got up and teleported where they appeared in Surzuch's mansion on a balcony, where they were surprised to see many people in front of all races and how he was being transmitted to the other factions as well. Enemu. Issei, what's going on here? Issei. You'll see. Walking to the front where everyone saw him and applauded since they knew about him. Issei. I was recently on a mission and when I returned I was surprised that my partner, Serafal Citri, had been engaged and I will not forgive him for that. She is a high-class demon, her duty is to have offspring. Someone from the crowd said where Issei only gave a serious look for such words. Issei. I don't care about that. Igarashi Issei at this moment will say that none of the girls behind me are alone since they are my fiancés, so no one bothers them. When they heard that, they were all surprised because on some occasions they saw them together and thought they were just friends, but they didn't expect such a thing. That's a lie, how they can be with a human. Gabriel-sama is more right. Many began to say their things while others said nothing. Some girls took steps forward. Astrid. I don't care about your opinion since now I am very happy with Issei and they also have beautiful girls to take care of. Gabriel. Issei brightens my life so please don't say those things about him. Enemu. I don't care about his opinion, but if they mess with him they mess with me. Siko. Hehehe, say more things and then I will have more reasons to make you suffer. Lucina. I say the same and it won't be something soft. The girls gave their opinion and so did the girls, since they didn't like people talking like that about their father and brother. The civilians remained silent and the leaders well they were jealous of Issei for having such girls on his side. After that the group left the place with everything turned out. Chap. 80. A few days had passed since Issei declared that no one should approach the girls where several were shocked by surprise. Although several of them don't care and kept sending letters where Issei wanted to go personally, but the girls stopped him and went themselves since they didn't want Issei to kill them. Roswis. Most of you have been busy. The Materasu. Many people bother and want to challenge Issei to a duel. Lefei. Some don't understand. Enemu. But it doesn't matter now everyone knows it and that makes me happy. Ingvald. Me too. Now no one will be able to say anything. Hinata. Well, not most of us since you are now famous since you are an idol. Baruko. Tell me, I will be able to sing with you one day, yes. Ingvald. Sure it will be fun. Iri. Tuchan knows how to sing. When the girls heard that, they saw less of Griselda since she remembered that moment. Griselda. It's true she did it when the festival was in the world where Najire and Iri came from. Najire. I wish I could have heard it. Siko. Maybe Issei knows how to do everything since he is a great fighter, he knows how to sing, dance, and most importantly he knows how to cook. The last thing was said with stars in her eyes, since she loved food more if Issei made it. Liza. Ani-chan is amazing. The office. He tries a lot just to see us happy. Irina. How about we ask him to sing something? Mocha. I like that idea when he comes back we'll tell him. Since she was walking through the supermarket with Grafia and Belfast. Minutes later the three arrived at the house and Issei was about to say something, but Naruko and Yukin took him by his hands and dragged him to the living room where there was a microphone. Belfast. Something's up. Enterprise. We want Issei to sing something to us. Grafia. That sounds good. He left his things in the kitchen and then went to the living room with the others. Issei. Something's wrong this girls. Ertalia. Issei we want to hear you sing since Griselda and Iri told me you can. Issei. I don't know that much. Kichigami. I know you can, yes. Issei noticed how everyone had a smile when he saw that he just smiled and nodded and created some clones and at the same time Issei forged some instruments. At that he started singing something romantic for the girls. When the girls heard such a song, they had hearts in two eyes because of how cute it was. Melty. Tu-chan you are amazing. Alicia. You always surprise us Issei, and that was beautiful. Eride. That was great as always. Issei. Thank you. But with everything ready that you want to eat, this day I will cook. Siko. Whatever you make is delicious. Serafal. You want us to help you. Issei. It's not okay, you guys stay here. I'll finish quickly. Going to the kitchen. Prince. I'll say it again he is unique. They all nodded in confirmation, it was true, even the girls. Later everyone was in the dining room enjoying the food and in the afternoon they watched a few movies as a family. Days later Issei went out to do some missions. Grafia. It's the first time we went on a mission together. Issei. Well before you couldn't because of your job. Grafia. I know. You know these days have been incredible since you have been with us. Issei. Well, I don't want them to bother them hahaha. Grafia. Issei, those people only approach us because of our power and nothing more. Besides, we only love you and we like to see you jealous, you look cute. Issei. You know, I still remember when we met, you were someone very serious, and now you are someone very happy. Rafia. I had to maintain an image before everyone. But when I'm not at home he acted like before just like you. Issei. I always act the same ha. Rafia just smiled at him and they continued on their way until they reached their destination where there were several groups transporting materials. After a short battle where Issei killed most of them, everything was done. Issei. Can you think of something why they would want all this? Rafia. Coming from Rizavim it's not a good thing. He is someone very smart. Issei. I have a feeling it won't be any good, honestly. Saving all the material to give to Azazel in case something happens to him. Rafia. Issei, we can go tomorrow, I want to spend the day with you. Issei. As my queen orders. Taking Rafia's hand which she happily accepted and they both started walking. Days later Issei was on the terrace watching the stars while most of them were sleeping. Mikishin. Something's wrong Issei. Taking a seat near him. Issei. Nothing bad, just thinking a little about everything that has happened. Mikishin. Like. Issei. Tell me what would have happened if my family had accepted me. Mikishin. I suppose you would have a normal life, let's say that right now you would be studying or working. Issei. I guess. Mikishin. But at the same time many bad things would have happened. Like where Brunhild comes from, maybe Ragnarok would have happened or maybe your friend's dimension would have been destroyed and maybe I would continue destroying everything in my path. Issei. Wow, that's a lot. Mikishin. There are many options of what would have happened, but don't think about that since I like how things happened. Issei. I see. Mikishin, can I ask you a question? Mikishin. Yes, tell me. Issei. Why are you all acting like I'm about to? It didn't end as Mikishin put his finger on Issei's lips. Mikishin. Don't say let alone think about it, that's fine. Issei just nodded as he noticed that she didn't want to hear that. Mikishin. You've gotten into a lot of trouble and had a lot of unwinnable fights, but you did it. You know we worry. Issei. But you don't want to go with me. Mikishin. We know what you are like and we don't just want to be running. You also know that some of us are not patient and we can destroy everything in our path. Issei just laughed a little at what she said. They both continued the talk until Mikishin went to rest, but not before kissing Issei goodbye. He, for his part, stayed there until he saw Chichigami. Issei. I thought you would be resting. Chichigami. I'm not sleepy and I wanted to talk to you about something. Issei. And that. Chichigami. There is a place I want you to explore, there is something strange. Issei. I see, okay I'll do it. Chichigami. Sorry for doing this to you. Issei. Okay, if I can help, I will. Chichigami approached Issei and gave him a hug. Issei. Say goodbye to the girls. Chichigami. It's okay and don't worry about the girls, we'll take better care of them now. Issei stood up from her seat and Chichigami created the portal where Issei turned around and gave her a big smile and then entered. Issei opened her eyes and noticed that it was daytime and that she was falling where she noticed that the ground was like a ship. Using Kai he floated a little until he landed on the ground near the ship and noticed the destruction there was. He was about to leave until he saw someone leave the ship. He was a man with a white cape and a yellow suit and red boots. He stared at Issei with a calm face. Who are you? Chap. 81. Issei saw the person who spoke to him and was about to respond, but someone else spoke. Sensei may be a civilian. Oji knows maybe you're right. Issei. I got lost hahaha, but what the hell happened here? Genos. A battle just ended, maybe you didn't notice. Issei. Not really since I just arrived. Genos. He is someone suspicious sensei. I guess, who are you? Issei. My name is Igarashi Issei and you? Extending his hand. Satama, that's what they call me. Taking Issei's hand where he could tell he had strength. So he also put some of his strength into it, surprising Satama a little. Issei also put more strength where they both had a serious face. Genos. Sensei, something's wrong. Satama. Nothing. Issei. Well, I left, I have things to do. Turning around but when he took the first step Satama put his hand on his shoulder. Satama. You are not a normal person. Issei. I say the same about you but I don't want to fight. Satama. You have no choice. Extending his fist and wanting to hit Issei where he just evaded the blow and as he did so he saw how a large gust of wind passed near him. Issei. Wow, not bad. Satama. You are strong. Giving her a small smile where Issei did the same. Issei. Well, if you want it that way, it will be. Forming seals with their hands where both men did not understand. Issei. Sorry but I wanted to fight with bare fists. I know you are strong and I want to fight like I did before. Satama. I see. Where both of them moved at a high speed and collided fists, causing a crack in their feet. Genos was surprised by what happened and Satama was the same way since no one survives his blows, but that made him a little happy. Issei. Let's go to a more secluded place so we don't end up with the city. Saitama nodded and they both took a big jump and left the place. Dinos wanted to go, but he didn't have enough energy to follow them any further with the speed they were going. Seconds later they both arrived at a desert and without waiting any longer they launched the attack at great speed, clashing fists where no one hit each other. Saitama. This is amazing. Issei. I say the same. They both said it with a big smile, since each one could keep up with the other. Issei. Because we're not going anymore, seriously. Saitama. Good. Putting on his serious face that only meant danger just like Issei. Saitama. Consecutive normal punches. Giving several blows to Issei where he crossed his two arms in an X shape and received every blow squarely. Issei. Not bad. Saitama. I say the same, this is amazing, you managed to survive. Issei just smiled and went against him, giving him several blows where Saitama imitated Issei and just crossed his arms receiving the blows squarely. But in Saitama's carelessness, Issei kicked him that sent him flying very far where Issei started to run until he intercepted him and gave him a kick that sent him into the air, and then he jumped and kicked him again. Abdomen that slammed him to the ground. Issei. You're very trusting Saitama. Seeing how he came out of the he heard that he had been created. Saitama. Not bad, but this fight is far from over. Letting out a sigh. Saitama. Serious punch. Appearing near Issei and giving him a big blow to the face that sent him flying much further than before, where he collided with several mountains and destroyed everything in his path. Saitama let out a sigh as he thought it was all over, so he turned around and started walking. Issei managed to stop and spit out some blood with some teeth. Issei. Interesting. Taking a jump where he fell seconds later in front of Saitama where upon seeing him he was surprised but glad since he wanted to continue fighting. Issei. Saitama, you're great, you know, I've had a fight like that for a while. Saitama. I say the same since they all die from one hit. But you are strong and you will help me know what my limit is. Issei. I say the same. I started to depend a lot on my skills and I left aside what I learned first, so it's time to know if I'm rusty. Where both of them moved at great speed and began to give each other several blows where each blow was fatal for a normal person or creature, but for both of them that was nothing. The minutes passed and no one stopped their attacks. But none of them were aware that with every blow they struck they made the planet shake, causing earthquakes and tsunamis. Making people scared and the heroes didn't know what to do in such a situation, since they didn't know what kind of enemy it was. For the first time, Saitama truly smiled as he could give his all in a battle without fear of ending the battle in a single blow. Issei was also more reminded of the old days of him when he had just started fighting the renegade demons, and the fights were long. After a blow to each of their faces, they both fell to the ground a little tired. Saitama. This is fun. Issei. Hahaha, I'm glad to hear that. Saitama. I could feel that it is a real battle. Issei. I see. How about we get this over with? Saitama. Well, let's see who comes out victorious. Where they both started running. And when they were face to face they both clashed their fists, causing a great crash next to them, and how several buildings on the planet fell, and everything was destroyed in their path by such a blow of power. When they collided their fists they used all their strength to end up where they both heard their bones in their hands turn to dust, but they still didn't care and continued putting more strength with a smile. After that they were both on the ground with a smile, but both were without an arm. Saitama. I don't regret anything, this was amazing, thank you. Issei. In the end it was a draw, hahaha, but I say the same thing, it was great, I had never fought like that and I have had many battles. At that they both stood up and started walking, since they didn't have that much energy to run or jump. Issei. Here. Giving him a red vial where Saitama took it since in the fight he noticed that Issei is a good person. Without hesitation he took it and in a few seconds his arm regenerated leaving him in shock. He saw Issei with a more disbelieving face as he felt no pain. Issei made seals with his only hand where at the end his arm grew back. Saitama. What did you do? Issei. Previously I told you that I blocked all my abilities since I wanted a bare-knuckle battle to make it fair. And that is a tier of the phoenix, I always have some just in case. Saitama. I see. Can I ask you a question? Issei. Tell me. Saitama. What is your purpose for which you fight? I just do it for fun, really. Issei. Very easy, you know in the past I didn't have anyone until I met one of my childhood friends who I promised to be strong to help her one day and over time, I met more people whom I want to protect. Heading in front of Saitama with a smile. And then he put his hand on Saitama's shoulder. Issei. Saitama is looking for someone to protect. And you will know why you fight. That's why right now you feel empty inside since you don't have a purpose. Turning around. Issei. We'll see each other another time and I hope you think a little about what I told you. Jumping up and leaving the place, leaving Saitama where he first thought about looking for someone. Chap. 82. A week had passed since the big fight between Satama and Issei, where the caped hero, upon hearing Issei's words, spent his time thinking, and Jinan tried to talk to him, but he was still lost in his world. Until later a woman knocked on his door, and it was the B rank in the number 1 Fubuki position, where he wanted to recruit Satama, where he quickly refused. Not very happy with that answer, she began to attack Satama, where he only evaded all attacks and received them squarely, where Fubuki used his slightest ability, and at the end she thought that she was already done with him. Seconds later the smoke dispersed and he was standing there as if nothing had happened, but before anyone spoke Genos fell to the ground and Issei looked up and saw Sonic, where he wanted to challenge him. Satama for his part refused since he didn't. "I had time for that." Sonic doesn't care, and it was against him that Genos intervened and they both began to fight, where in the end Genos lost since Sonic had learned a new ability that involved creating images of himself. Satama tiredly let out a sigh and stood in front of him while she listened to Fubuki's demands that he leave since she noticed that he could be of S rank. At that time Sonic smiled and went against Satama, creating the illusions. Satama seeing that also did it, where he believed more than Sonic, where he was shocked by surprise and was defeated in an instant. Fubuki was impressed by Satama's skill and wanted to know more about him. While he returned to his room to continue thinking about what to do. Issei on the other hand at that time after the fight went to explore and was surprised and happy since he was in a hero world, where it made him remember when he went to Midoriya. He went to several places, helped several people, and at the same time noticed the destruction of many places where, without thinking twice, he created wooden houses without any difficulty, leaving civilians surprised but happy. In a short time his fame grew as several people recorded him helping others with a smile, where he inadvertently made girls faint because of how cute he was. It was night and Issei was walking through the streets alone since people were afraid to go out because of the monsters. At that moment one crossed paths with Issei. Wow, it's time to have some fun. Issei, I have a question for you. Since you will die, why tell me? Issei, where do you come from and who is your leader? Ahahaha, you humans are the invaders, we got here first, so you have no right to talk nonsense. And the other thing I will only say is that he is someone extremely strong. Issei, I see. Putting her hand on his chin to think about the situation, while the monster, seeing that, took the opportunity to try to kill Issei, but when he hit him, it didn't even move him a bit. While Issei was still lost in thoughts of him and the monster attacked from all sides but nothing. Feeling a tickling sensation, Issei came out of his daze and saw how the monster was marrying. Issei, what's wrong with you? Who the hell are you? Issei just gave him a small smile, where the monster, seeing that, got scared and was about to leave, but Issei broke his leg. Issei, you know, from what I see, I noticed that you have killed some people, and what I hate most is seeing their arrogant faces like when I met you. You plan to do, Issei, make you feel the suffering they felt, I guess, but don't worry, I'll be quick since well I have things to do. Creating a barrier and where the torture began, where the monster only screamed in pain. Issei only took you about 20 minutes and during the torture the monster gave more information that he found interesting. After that he killed him and continued on his way. Issei thought. So during a tournament they will attack. I think it's time to look for Satama, maybe he will decide to help me. Well, he was on his way to the city where he lived. Satama on the other hand was at his house with King playing a video game while Genos and Fubuki just watched them. Genos. Sensei, we have to train. Satama. Another time, Genos, I'm still resting. Fubuki. Well, you already thought about joining me. Satama. No, what are you doing here? Fubuki. I wait your response, so you will have to endure until I accept. Satama. I see. King. Satama, don't get distracted. Seeing how King was beating him up in the video game while he did everything he could to defend himself. Seconds later someone knocked on the door. Genos. Bang, you were offered something. Bang. I was passing by. Genos. I see who he is passing by and his companion. Bang. He's my bomb big brother. Genos just nodded and took the two guests with the rest, where they were both surprised to see they're one of the strongest S rank, King, and the strongest of his B rank category, Fubuki. Bang. You have good friend Satama from what I see. Satama. Ah yes, but it doesn't matter what you want. Bang. I was just passing by since I was nearby. Satama. I see. Someone was about to say something until they saw the window open and everyone took an attack position except Satama, who was still sitting as if nothing had happened, and King, who got scared thinking it was something dangerous. When the window opened completely, a young man with long hair entered, where Satama quickly stood up. Issei. Hey Satama, how are you doing? It's been a few days since that. Satama. Long time no see, and what are you doing here? Issei. Well, I was exploring and well I found out some things and I wanted to know if you want to help. Satama. Of course, why not? Those present were surprised to hear that since they knew how lazy Satama was and also that they did not know the boy except for Genos, who saw him once. Genos. Sensei who is here, I thought I had killed him on that occasion. Saitama. It was the complete opposite, he beat me up. Everyone was surprised when they heard that because they knew how strong Saitama was plus bang, and when they saw Issei, they didn't notice that he was someone to fear like Saitama. Issei noticed his gaze and upon seeing his curiosity, he released a little of his aura, scaring everyone there except Saitama, who felt nothing. Hing fainted out of fear since he was the weakest of all. Saitama. And what is it? Issei. Come let's talk outside. Jumping out the window. Bang. Hey boy, do you trust him? Saitama. Yes. Jumping out the window too. 10 minutes passed and Saitama entered through the door this time and went to the living room where everyone was waiting for him. Where the group went against him to ask him several questions about the topic they talked about. Saitama, for his part, took his seat and took his controller and continued with the video game without listening to the questions. Chap. 83. A few days had passed and Saitama joined Issei in the mission to go against the leader of the monsters since he had nothing better to do. Saitama. Tell me Issei why you do this thing that you gain by doing it. Issei. I didn't gain anything by doing it, I only do it so that more people can be with their families. Tell me what happens when the monsters attack the city. Saitama. I guess they destroy everything in their path. Issei. That's right, but sometimes they kidnap people or kill them instantly just for pleasure, and I don't like that since I don't like seeing sad families. Saitama. You have a family. Issei. Yes and it is a very big one. You know I just fight for them to be happy. I travel alone so I can continue improving and thus save them from danger. Saitama. You are already strong enough because you want to improve more. Issei. Saitama, it is never too late to improve. There was a time where I reached my limit and the truth is I felt satisfied since I could defend my loved ones. But I know that sooner or later a high-level enemy will appear that I won't be able to stop on my own. Saitama. So much suffering while doing all this. Issei. It is better to be hurt than to hurt others, kind people are capable of living like that is what I have learned over time. Saitama. You put on a lot of weight, you knew it yourself. Issei. It doesn't matter as long as I can see their smiles I can bear any weight. Saitama. I see. Tell me what you will do when there are no longer conflicts. Issei. You know without war there is no peace and well when the war is postponed I will only rest with my family. Saitama. Sounds good. Issei just smiled at that and they continued on their way until they reached the main entrance to the sewers. Issei. Ready for action. Saitama. As always. At that point, both of them began to run at high speed towards their destination. While in the DXD dimension the girls were in the room chatting. Enterprise. How is Issei doing right now? Griselda. Being right now he must be fighting or running from problems. And Zayton. That's common for him, but he doesn't do it because he wants to. Aurelia. We know he only does it to help. Siko. I remembered something we talked about a long time ago. Isabella. And that. Siko. He promised me that he would give me the best food in the world. She said it with stars in her eyes, while the rest of the girls only had a drop of sweat. Lucina. I think Issei has us very spoiled, don't you believe it? Serafal. It's his fault for being so cute. Gabriel. You're right. Isaka. Siko, what was the Issei of your dimension like? Siko. As you know he is the Sekiryuite and well he is very perverted hahaha and he accepts it happily. Enemu? Wow, that is. Valerie. Ugly. Enemu? Exactly. Aviana. Hahaha and how our Issei treated him. Siko. From time to time I would hit him to make him stop acting like that. Claire. Now that I think about it, thanks to Drake completely turning me into a dragon, I can now feel what race everyone is, but with Issei it's different. Naruko. I have that problem too. Office. They must know something. Belfast. And that would be. Mikishin. Let's say that Issei has no race now. Prince. What do you mean? He said it interesting where the rest of the girls paid attention, since they were also curious. Mikishin. As you know, Issei, with so many trips she has made, has had to make her body adapt to a new environment. Bernald. I understand it, but because we don't suffer that when we come here. Fords. Her magical reserves increased not her residence. Mocha. Sure. Margarita. That was the case with Issei. Like when she went to Naruko's dimension her body adapted to start producing chakra. Kichigami. The truth is I was afraid that that would happen and that her body would have a hard time. Lefei. Maybe it is due to her will not to give up. Raftalia. Wow Issei, it's really amazing that she would achieve all that. Office. Unintentionally, when he was with me I turned him into a dragon too. Kuroka. Wait then it's also a dragon right now how is that? Office. When we did it I went a little overboard and bit it. Buchan. Wait if that's the case because we don't have a brand. Office. Her body has not yet adapted to my power. Gunu. Wow, this is really new. Mikishin. We better stop Issei. Najire. What do you mean by stop? Mikishin. You can see Issei very calm and everything, and you can be surprised at how he learns all that quickly, but you have never wondered if he doesn't have a hard time. Isaka. He said not so much. Margarita. The truth is that is a lie since when we trained him to improve his skills, we were surprised that he learned quickly but. Vados. But when he went to rest he went to a very remote place. Amaterasu. Because I did that. Vados. He was going to that place to scream in pain. On one occasion we followed him through our vacuum and when we saw him we were surprised because we saw how he screamed in pain and how some parts of his body were bleeding. All the girls were scared when they heard that. Mikishin. Issei's body can't handle so much power and in order not to worry, he just smiles and endures all that. Rafia. Because they didn't tell us this before. Vados. Something always came up and we missed it. Serafal. So what can we do to help you? Mikishin. I don't know, right? Astid. But there must be something so that he doesn't suffer while we just remain silent. Office. There is only one solution and that is to tell Baka Red. Arena. To the true dragon god. Vados. I suppose he could do it but he would still be missing that wouldn't be enough. Hinata. What else do you need? Mikishin. Remember Issei has many energies in his body, tell me what would happen if one of them is superior to the others. Lefei. The others would get out of control and cause a catastrophe. Mikishin. That's right. Issei keeps them stable, but at some point he will reach his limit. Astrid. So. Margarita. Our idea is that while that dragon is making Issei's body we pass on our power to it since most of us come from different places. Alice. That doesn't sound bad and then his power will be stable. Pagaya. Well, all that remains is to convince that dragon or else it will be the hard way since I would do anything for Issei, he has already done a lot for me and it is time to pay. Gabriel. I will do it. Isabella. He is the king and he must be strong to be by our side. Mikishin. Well, when he comes back we will do all this. Kichigami. Well, just call me, I'll tell them. All the girls nodded, determined by the situation. Office got up from her seat and created a dimensional gap to go find Great Red to ask for her help. Chap. 84. They both continued on their way until Issei stopped. Saitama. Hey, something's up. Issei. Can you get out of there please? If you continue hiding more then we won't be able to help you. Saitama didn't understand what she was saying until she saw how Fubuki left a little embarrassed. Saitama. What, like since when? Fubuki. I was curious where they were going and well I followed them. Saitama. Hey, how long have you known that he was following us? Issei. Since we got together but I know that you are going to protect her. Fubuki. I can protect myself, I am rank B in the first place. Issei. I see. Continuing on their way while Saitama said it, Fubuki for her part was a little annoyed by how he responded, but she still followed them. They walked for a few minutes until Issei stopped his pace again. Issei. Well, it's time for action, which of you two will go? Fubuki. What are you talking about, I don't see anyone. Issei. You'll see. Seconds later Fubuki heard some footsteps, Saitama had done this for a long time, but was too lazy to respond. Later something similar between insect and human emerged. Fubuki was surprised when she saw him because she knew very well who she was. Fubuki. He is a disaster level. Insect god demon. Insect. Wow, we have visitors, this is new. Issei. We can see your leader so you save us time since the truth is I have things to do. Insect. Ha human is giving me orders. Saitama. You make a lot of noise. The insect, upon hearing that, got upset and went against Saitama since he looked the weakest until he only received a blow, killing him instantly. Saitama. Just one hit. Well it doesn't matter. While she continued walking. Fubuki's eyes were wide open as he saw how easily he killed him. For her part, Issei continued on his way. Minutes passed and they came across several low-class monsters where Fubuki took care of most of them since she wanted to prove that she was fit to be on the mission. The hours passed and more monsters came out where the three went on the attack, killing everything instantly. Fubuki was getting married since she couldn't keep up with them. Saitama. You're fine. Fubuki. If this is nothing, let's continue. Issei. For now we rest since a big battle will come soon. Giving a seed to Fubuki who took it curiously but then ate it and felt her injuries and fatigue go away. Fubuki. Where did you buy that? Issei. I did but that doesn't matter. Soon many enemies will come and I can also feel like there are two children around here. Saitama. Any ideas then? Issei. I'll go for the children and you two go for the king. I know they both can. Giving them a smile and giving them a thumbs up. After finishing he started walking while whistling, leaving both of them in place. Minutes later Issei could hear some battle cries. Issei. I hope you guys do well. Stopping his walk while a man with many bandages stood near him along with other monsters. Issei. Friend, you look in bad shape, you should go to the doctor to remove those bandages. This will be fun, finally someone to have fun with. We are going to distract you sir and you take care of the rest. Taking a step together with his companions, but his own boss killed them all. This is my battle, I don't want any obstacles. Licking his sword and taking a few steps until he suddenly dropped his sword and saw how his hands lost color and became thinner. When he arrived with Issei he was so old that he barely put his hand on his shoulder. What did you do to me? Falling to the ground with a little breath he had while Issei got on his knees in front of him. Issei. I have some abilities that I have never used and this is one of them. It is the commandment of pacifism and it means that when someone kills in my presence they will age quickly until they die. Just after finishing saying his words, he noticed that the person was already dead. Issei just let out a sigh and continued on his way as he came across several monsters where he killed them instantly. The group was in front of Issei with death glares towards him, but after taking a few steps they stood still. What did you do to us? Issei. Everything that feels hatred in its heart will lose power in my presence. Making seals with his hands and creating a large wave of fire killing everyone in an instant. After several minutes of walking he reached his destination where he saw the two children. One was dressed normal and another had an elegant suit. Finally a hero came, take me out of here and I will tell my father to give you whatever you want. Issei. Child, be more polite. Just get me out of here, I don't like this place and you can leave the other child since he doesn't matter. Issei. Both are worth the same. Destroying the metal bars and creating a clone. Issei. Take the children away from this place. The clone just nodded and left the place with both children while Issei continued on his way. Several minutes later and several bodies behind him he arrived at his destination where he saw his two companions. Issei. Wow, it's huge, tell me Saitama, can you handle it? Saitama. It will be interesting, are you ready Fubuki? Fubuki. I don't know, this is too long my. Saitama. Don't worry, I'll protect you. Upon hearing that, she blushed a little and Issei just smiled as he realized that he was finally looking for a purpose to fight. Saitama for his part was surprised by what he said but left it at that. Issei. Well, you take care of him and I take care of the rest of his subordinates. Leaping and falling in the middle of hundreds of monsters while Saitama made a big jump to hit the king. A simple human wants to fight me, my Arachi. Saitama. Yes. Hitting him in the face causing Arachi to fall to the ground. He was surprised as he didn't think he would be so strong, so he stood up again and became serious. Fubuki launched several attacks with his telekinesis power with various things, but they weren't much use. Issei, on the other hand, killed every enemy that approached him with a single blow since he did not want to prolong the battle for so long. The minutes passed and Issei had already finished with his work and only limited himself to watching Saitama and Fubuki's battle where Arachi was very upset and hurt. Seconds later he let out a loud scream and his appearance began to change, becoming bigger and where tentacles appeared. Issei. Wow, it looks uglier. Arachi. They forced me to use my true form. Nobody leaves here alive. Launching several attacks where Saitama took Fubuki and began to evade all attacks while Issei alone destroyed every tentacle that was directed at him. Issei. Show who you are with the cape bald. Saitama. How do you know that? Issei. Investigate hahaha. Provoking Saitama to attack Arachi, giving him several blows, destroying his body, but regenerating him instantly. Saitama smiled when he saw that because this way his battle would be more interesting. While Fubuki just saw how strong Saitama was. Fubuki. He's great. He said it in a whisper to himself, but Issei heard her clearly. Saitama. Consecutive serious blows. Giving them several blows, destroying his body into many pieces and causing an earthquake throughout the world since they were under a city. After that Saitama returned with the calm group and Issei for his part went to Arachi and created several spheres with Hakai and threw them at Arachi's parts since he had a feeling that he might return. Saitama. What was that? Issei. Something to prevent but that's it. Tell me what you thought of the battle. Saitama. It wasn't bad but it was better when I fought with you. Issei. This war is not over. Fubuki. What do you mean, you yourself killed the monsters while Saitama killed his king. Issei. There are many enemies out there and not long ago one came from space. If one came, several more will come. Saitama. I see. Issei. I told you before Saitama, without wars there is no peace. And from here I can see that there is a great enemy out there that will give you battle. Approaching Saitama and putting his hand on his head, he was about to say something, but then he saw how an image appeared in his brain and he was surprised. Saitama. What was that? Issei. You will know in due time. Saitama. If you know where it is, why don't we go? Issei. There are battles that don't belong to me like that. Saitama, I know that you are strong, but you want to break that limit and maybe with the next enemies you will achieve it. Saitama. I understand it will be interesting. Issei. I helped with this to avoid unnecessary deaths of heroes. Now you just have to prepare for the future and look for companions. Fubuki. I will fight too. having a certain look. Issei. Sounds good. Saitama. And what will you do from now on? Issei. I came just to investigate, my intention was to stay for a few days, but a few weeks passed ha, extending his hand which Saitama took with a smile. After that Issei extended his hand again towards Fubuki who accepted since thanks to Issei he was able to fight. Issei gave a big smile and took a big jump leaving the place, and then he made the clone he had disappear and called Chichigami making a portal open in the sky and he will enter. Chap. 85 days before Office was in the dimensional gap looking for Great Red where time passed faster there. A week later he finally found him and stood in front of him where Office looked like an ant in front of Great Red. Big Red. You come to continue the fight. Office. Red, I want a favor from you. The big dragon was a little surprised to see her serious and that she didn't call him Baka Red like always. He was about to say something, but he saw how Office tilted her head, saying that this time Great Red would show his surprise. Big Red. What's wrong, you're not like that. Office. I want you to create a body for my husband. Big Red. It is a surprise that you will find someone when you have no feelings. Office. At first I just wanted his strength to get you out of here, but in the end I got to know him better and he taught me many things. Plus now I have a family and I want to do something for them. Big Red. Because I would have to do this. Office. If you help me I won't bother you again and you can keep this place, I don't want it anymore. Big Red. You changed in a short time and your request is fine. Bring the brat. Office. Thank you. Opening a dimensional gap and leaving the place, appearing at his house giving the good news. Eidos. Well now all that remains is for us to be ready since, as you know, Issei has a lot of power and we must keep him stable. A slight mistake would cause a catastrophe. Kichigami. Who will bring some of Issei's friends to stabilize one of his abilities. Enterprise. I will go to sea for your friend Luffy. Seraphol. I'll go get Meliodas, you'll come with me Gabriel. She just nodded at him with a smile. Kichigami. Well, then will be enough since the other girls will be able to handle the rest. Griselda. Wait, I'll go get Kian Renksu. Kichigami just nodded and created 3 portals where the girls entered. Seraphol and Gabriel came out of the portal where they were surprised by the place, but they left it aside and went to look for Meliodas, where they attracted a lot of attention due to her beauty, but they did not take it into account. In the distance they saw the castle and took out their wings where they went straight to the place where they saw Meliodas in the courtyard with his wife and son. Meliodas, upon seeing the girls, knew how to recognize them, since previously her great friend showed him a photo of them. Meliodas. Sate, I didn't know my friend was around here. Where is the? Seraphol. It's nice to meet you, Issei told us about you. Elizabeth. Maybe she told us about you. Gabriel. Meliodas we need a favor, would you help us? Meliodas. Something's wrong with Issei. Seraphol. We need you to help keep his power stable since. Meliodas. Her body can't handle that much power, right? Seraphol. Yes. Meliodas. You told me about it a long time ago and it's okay, I'll help you. Elizabeth. I'll go too and help a little. Tristan. I want to see my godfather too. The girls just nodded and called to Chichigami where the family entered. Meanwhile Enterprise appeared as if in the old age of Japan where he did not care and began to search. After an hour of searching she saw someone she knew. Enterprise. Nami. Upon hearing that voice of hers, she turned around and was surprised to see her, but was happy for her and went to her to give her a hug. Nami. Enterprise has been so long. Enterprise. I know and tell me where your captain is. Nami. Eating like instruction, come on. They both started walking while talking about trivial things where minutes later they arrived at a restaurant and everyone was there. When they saw Enterprise, they went to greet her where Sanji, seeing her, wanted to give him a hug, but Nami hit him. Luffy. And where is Issei? I haven't seen him in a while. Enterprise. He didn't come, but I need your help Luffy it's about Issei. Upon hearing that he stopped eating and became serious where some were surprised since he rarely gets like that. Luffy. Something's wrong. Enterprise. Come on, I'll tell you on the way. He just nodded and got up from the place and they both left the place and Enterprise called his partner where they both entered. Griselda, for her part, had to cause some trouble to enter the spiritual office until she saw her friend. Kian Renksu. Griselda something is happening. Griselda. You can come for a while needing your help. She just nodded since her family was the most important thing. Seconds later the portal opened and they both entered. Minutes later everyone was in the house and others were surprised by the new guests. Someone was about to say something until Chichigami heard Issei's voice. Kichigami. Leave, I'll take Issei to the place. The office just nodded and created a dimensional gap, but not before putting protection on everyone, and then they went to their destination just like Chichigami. Already in the palace, Issei, upon seeing her, gave her a big smile and went to her, giving her a hug and a kiss that she happily reciprocated. Kichigami. How did it go? Issei. Everything was fine, there were no problems. Kichigami. It's hard to believe that, but tell us later. First we will go to a place. He couldn't say anything since Shichigami created a portal and they both entered. When Issei came out he was surprised to see several more acquaintances of Qian Renksu, but he smiled at her as did she. Issei. Meliodas, Elizabeth, Tristan and Luffy, what's up? Meliodas. You see, it's time to help a friend. Issei. What do you mean? Lucina. Issei, we already know. Issei. What a thing. You can. That your body can't handle so much power. Issei. I'm fine, don't worry. Mikishin. Don't lie, in the end we know. Issei just let out a sigh and nodded. Seraphol. We know why you didn't want to tell us and it was so we wouldn't worry, but it hurts us to know that you suffer while you put on that smile. Belfast. Please don't hide anything from us. Office. We know you are strong but never hide everything to yourself. We are a family and our duty is to always support you. Issei. Thank you for your words and sorry to everyone. The girls just gave him a smile and then turned serious. Big Red. Well, I have everything ready. Showing a cocoon where there was a body. Big Red. I can tell that you are someone very powerful boy and that is why the body I made for you is not as common as you think. Since it has more than half of my power. Issei. I see and thank you. Seraphol, do you remember when we met and the words I said? Seraphol. Yes, you were going to show that a human would fight a stranger. Issei. And tell me I did it. Enemu. You achieved the impossible. Isabella. You did more than you should have. Issei just smiled and stood in front of the idiot. Issei. I left some clones in other places so don't worry since they are made of blood. The only way for them to disappear is if they die or we run away. Raftalia. You say that because of the clones of us that you left behind. Issei. Yes. Issei approached the three angels and removed all of their suppression seals. The three saw Issei and he just nodded where at that moment they invoked his void and with all his power they took out Issei's soul since it was difficult for them. As he did that, Issei's body fell to the ground. Vados touched it and at that moment it turned to dust, but many things also appeared like 10 spheres, being the commandments and the spiritual rings, the spiritual bones, the devil fruit, the eyes with the Sharingan and Renengan among other things. At that everyone nodded and Meliodas entered his demon mode and Elizabeth entered her angel mode to help. While Luffy extended his arms to keep the fruit from leaving with another person. The girls used their power to keep all of Issei's power, which to their surprise was much more than expected until Big Red was surprised at how much he had and without any other option he joined in too. Kurama, Drake, Albion and Abyssing came out and also helped to keep everything stable. While the three angels moved Issei's soul to his new body where upon entering his cocoon began to crack. Mikishin. Now comes the complicated part, you better prepare. Everyone nodded and at that moment Issei's cocoon opened. He opened his eyes and began to scream in pain. When the girls saw that, they wanted to go to him, but they had to keep everything stable. Every time Issei needed more power where everyone gave their all. Prince. We must help too. Belfast. Like. Prince. We have to give him our blood, it's the least we can do. The three nodded and cut their hands where the blood went to Issei and they felt it coming down quickly. Mocha. Don't continue. Enterprise. It's the least we can do and thanks to Office we have a lot of resistance so don't worry. Seconds later, several were reaching their limits, but they did not give up as they wanted to reach the end. Great Red was surprised by everything that was happening. Issei, on the other hand, his hair changed to blonde with red highlights and her eyes changed. Now one was green from the poison and the other from all the remaining power. Little by little he stood up while many things hit him, but he could not give up since he saw everyone's effort. Half an hour later everything was over and everyone was tired as they were breathing hard. Office. We did it right. One of the angels was about to respond, but Issei beat them to it. Issei. Yes, thank you for his efforts. They saw how Issei was getting up where the girls blushed since he had become much more beautiful with that color of eyes and hair. Seeing that, Issei created clothes since he had nothing and walked in front of the majority. Issei. Thank you very much for all this girls and friends. Meliodas. It was quite a challenge in such a short time you became stronger. Luffy. Your great friend ha 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 ha. Big Red. Brat, you're a monster now. Issei. They've always told me like that. Scratching the back of his head. Great Red. They all helped you keep their power stable, but at the same time something of them was for you. Greg. What do you mean? Big Red. Now the brat has many races. Everyone was surprised when they heard that as they expected him to be just a dragon. At that moment Issei took out several types of wings, leaving everyone in shock. Since he had the wings of a dragon, angel, fallen angel, demon, vampire, plus he got a pair of ears and 10 tails, leaving Yasaka and Kunu in shock for such a thing, just like Kurama. At the same time, he grew horns from Isabella, making him a true demon king, causing her to smile when she saw that. Issei took everything off, and when he did so a pair of ears and 3 cattails came out where Kuroka was surprised since she wasn't expecting that. Issei. I'll have to train a lot, honestly. Big Red. If you are you will achieve it quickly, but the truth is you are a bit scary with so many things. Prince. Too bad you don't have our weapons. Issei. This one. Where several canyons were formed around them where the 3 girls were happy to see that. Issei. My forging ability perhaps made some things possible. Siko. Ha, you are great. Kian Rinksu. You are quite a god now. Morelia. All the titles you obtained in the past have worked for you. Kunu. Issei, I can touch your tails. Issei just nodded and both Isaka and Raftalia went too, and when they did they were very soft yellow and orange in color. Greg. You're scary, brat. Albion. And if you say it, I don't even want to know what he will have about us. Abyssing. True. Tristan. Godfather. Issei. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Tristan. You're amazing, you're better than 2chan now. Meliodas upon hearing that fell to his knees while Elizabeth comforted him. Seconds later Chichigami returned since she had left to go bring the other members of the family. The girls were surprised when they saw Issei, but they went to him and gave him a hug. Tristan, seeing the girls, couldn't help but blush because of how cute they were. Issei, noticing that, took all the girls and took them away. Meliodas couldn't stand it and started laughing. Meliodas. I think we'll be family ha. All the girls. No. Issei. They're too young for that. Eri. 2chan, what's up? Issei. Nothing important, well, how about we go eat, yes. Everyone nodded, but Luffy had stars in his eyes. Issei saw Great Red and nodded where he took a human form, since he was curious to know what would become of Issei in the future. After that they returned to the house and a party was held. Chap. 86. A day passed where they spent a lot of time celebrating where Meliodas on his part was bothering Issei about being family, on his part he just wanted to hit him, but Meliodas ran away instantly and hid behind Elizabeth. Luffy for his part was happy to try new types of food, where from eating so much, he became like a ball where the children seeing that played with which Luffy happily accepted since he liked the children. Great Red laughed at the situation and understood the great change in office for her to give up her house. Later it was time for her farewell. Luffy. Thank you for the food, it was unique. Issei. Say hello to the rest. Luffy. When will you go? Issei. When you find the One Piece since I want to see your face. Luffy just gave him a big smile and shook his hand with Issei's and later entered his portal. Meliodas. Sate, I think it's time to go. Issei. Thank you and say hello to the rest of the boys. Meliodas. Sure and I'll tell them that we will be family. With a big smile where Issei grabbed him by the collar of his shirt and threw him into the portal. Issei. Dreaming is not bad, Meliodas. Elizabeth. You can come whenever you want as you will always be welcome. Issei. Thank you, I say the same. At that they both looked in a direction where they saw Tristan as he approached Liza with some sadness. Tristan. Liza-chan, it's time for me to go. Liza. I see, thanks for coming, it was fun playing with you. Tristan. Do you think we'll see each other in the future? Liza. Maybe. Giving him a smile where Tristan turned red at how cute he was. Tristan. If we see each other in the future I want you to be my wife. Everyone present was shocked when they heard that except Elizabeth who just smiled. And Meliodas came out of the portal and managed to hear everything. Meliodas. Ha, I won in the end. Making fun of Issei. Liza. I'm sorry but no. If my Ani-chan is not in favor I will not do it since I trust her decision. Meliodas upon hearing that stopped laughing and Issei for his part formed a big smile where Meliodas already knew what was coming. Issei. Ha, that's my little sister, the best in the world. In the end she won. Meliodas. Whatever. Taking his son like a sack from the father since he fell unconscious due to such a response. Issei took her sister into her arms. Issei. Girls, let's go get ice cream, we have to celebrate. Everyone was happy to hear that and left the house. Siko. Wow, the child was traumatized, I think, but it doesn't matter, that's how Liza-chan talks. Claire. She's the same as me ha. Office. And you won't go Baka Red. Big Red. Nah, I like this place, maybe I'll stay a while. Taking a sip of the wine from him, but in that instant all the girls surrounded him and Office opened a dimensional breach. Office. You kicked me out of my house before and now it's my turn haha, so you can see how it feels. Kicking him in the butt and then closing the dimensional gap. Later they all cleaned up what was left of the party and hours later Issei returned with the girls where the girls, upon seeing them, were a little surprised since they saw the girls serious. Mocha. Something's wrong. Melty. Nothing, it's just that 2chan couldn't be left alone by women. Kuroka. Something happened. Philo. Well we were eating our ice creams, many women approached us and didn't want to let us go. Yui. And that's why we are on guard to keep away any woman who approaches Tu-chan, since only our mothers can be with him. Vados. Good job. Isaka. Come on, it's time to sleep, I'll tell you a story. The girls happily accepted and climbed onto her body, while the rest looked at Issei. Issei. This one. Lucina. We know that the change was little, but that look is unique, a green and red eye, plus that blonde hair that makes anyone fall in love with it. Issei. But nothing happened. Lefei. We know, don't worry. Issei just smiled and went to the living room with the rest and took out a piece of paper and ink and started writing, and when he finished he put it on her forehead. Hinata. And that. Issei. Block all my power right now, I'm an ordinary human. Margarita. And that. Issei. I want to train like when I was a child. Lefei. But. Irina. That took you a long time. Mikishin. I already solved that since I built a time machine with Vados and Margarita only on another planet so that they can train comfortably. Issei. Thank you, and when I reach my human limit I will deactivate everything and start with the other thing. Lefei got up from his seat and gave him a book. Lefei. Now that you have magic, I hope this helps you. Issei. Thank you, I'll use it. Each girl gave him something of their own so that Issei could train his skills, the 3 dragons, and the kitsune only gave him advice. Kanrenksu. I'll see you soon, Issei. Issei. I wish you luck in your training, and if something happens call my clone. Kanrenksu. Don't worry. Giving her a kiss and where Chichigami opened a portal and she left to continue her training. Issei said goodbye to all the girls and went up to the 3rd floor where he was the one with the girls. When he arrived he saw them all and Yusaka, where he gave her and one of the girls a kiss on the forehead and told them that he was going to train. Minutes later he went down to the living room and went with Mikishin to Neptune since the machine was there. Issei. Because so far. Mikishin. That way no one else looks for it, and in our house no one would use it, it would only take up space since you know that the others like to learn slowly. Issei. I see. Tell me how much time will be spent there. Mikishin. Inside it will be 1,000,000, while outside just 1 day I think is more than enough. Issei. It's a long time, but I have a lot to learn the truth. Mikishin. I wish you luck. Arriving at her destination where she opened the door and they both entered a white place. Mikishin. You just imagine what things you want to train and everything will appear. Issei. Thank you. Giving her a kiss which she gladly accepted, and then he left the room leaving her lover in her training room. Issei for his part imagined an 8-foot-long rock and let out a sigh. Issei. Here we go again. Hitting the rock. Chap. 87. A week had passed since Issei started his training, where he took his body to the extreme, where he had many scars on his hands from hitting rock so much. But after 100 years he achieved the first step, and that was to push his human body to the limit. Then she started with the training of the dragon body, where she had a difficult time since there was a lot of resistance and her power was almost limited thanks to Office. Meanwhile the girls were bored of seeing Issei. Serafal. I miss Ice-chan, I know that sometimes it takes longer, but this time she is close to her. Leviana. You have to wait, remember that she has a lot of training to do. Office. She has many races and will have to train one by one. Kuroka. She looks cute with the Nekomata ears, when I saw it I wanted to jump on hers. Raftalia. Her tails were very soft. Kichigami. Well, the girls are on a trip to the academy and it will take 2 days because we are not going to another dimension. When everyone heard that, it seemed like a great idea. Griselda. Kind of. Kichigami. You said it will be fun. Enemu. We want to go to this other Issei, we want to know what he is like. Prince. Although he won't be like our Issei. Everyone instantly agreed as it was true. Kichigami. Believe it or not, there are many dimensions where he is. And in most of them he has the red dragon. Greg. Maybe my destiny would have been different if I had been with Issei before. Lafay. It would be impossible, since if you had been with Issei since he was a child, most of us would not have known him. Valerie. Everything would be very different, and the truth is I don't want to know another future without Issei. Mikishin. Let's get off topic, and then where are we going? Kichigami. We leave it to chance. They all nodded, and at that Chichigami took out his staff and created a portal where all the girls entered and exited in a forest well known to most. Arena. It's where Issei usually trains. Lefei. So where are we going? Enterprise. Let's see what Issei is like. Alice. Come on. The group headed to the city where it was night, so they didn't attract much attention until they felt a known power. Enemu. That's Azazel and the other leaders. Albion. And Vali, so we are during this time. Mikishin. Plus there is a strange power too. Kichigami. From my reports, that is Issei who has the power of 2 great existences from another dimension that arrived here. Athena. Wow, let's hope we go, the truth is I want to see what it is like. They all took the path and without caring about anything they entered the barrier, destroying it where they stopped the combat, and everyone was shocked when they saw a group of women. Some men could not help but have a runny nose because of how beautiful they were. Issei was surprised to see Grafia there too, where his copy of that dimension was as well. Just like the rest. Issei. Wow, this is new. Serafal. And who are you? Issei. Easy magical girl, I am Haidu Issei. Some were surprised since she had white hair and a blindfold, as well as having a big smile. Michael. Gabriel. Azazel. Penemu, Leviana, who are they? Penemu? I will just say that we are not from this dimension. The truth is we come out of boredom since our Issei is busy. At that moment she formed a big smile as she saw how everyone's eyes widened when they heard the last thing. Leviathan. How is that? Serafal. Ice-chan is unique in everything. Putting her hands on his cheeks as she was turning red as she remembered everything more intimate. Surzich. Yusaka Samayu. Yusaka. Just seeing his smile is more than enough and he has done many things for me. Aphrodite. Well, continue with your battle. How is it possible that someone like that idiot has so many beautiful women? Issei. Even in another dimension I am irresistible, ha 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 ha. Elfast. No offense, but you don't compare to him at all. Mikishin. You seem to be strong but to our Issei you are like an ant. Issei. Wow, I've never been insulted so much. I joke, those clones over there just talk nonsense. Ren. Shut up, idiot. Najire. Wow, they hate it here too. Issei. Did my clone have brothers? Kichigami. Don't call him a clone since you are more like his clone. And to your question if he had a brother and sister. Takashi. They gave him what he deserved, no. Eride. Puff, otherwise Issei humiliated him with a big beating. Azazel. What kind of magic does it have? Arena. Before I only had strength, but now it's something else. Surzich. What did that monster become? Just as he finished saying those words, two eye stakes were pointed at his neck, Grafia and Serafal. The others, for their part, managed to resist by doing nothing. Grafia. Don't tell him like that or you'll know the consequences. Surzich. You betrayed me. Grafia. Don't betray anyone, plus I'm from another dimension so you're a stranger to me. Leviathan. What did he do? Ingvald. That he hasn't done it. Roswis. Issei is Asgard's most beloved hero. Who knew? My faction wants it too. Bastet. In Egypt he is considered the god of destruction. Gabriel. He holds the title of Supreme Archangel, being above Michael Ani-sama. Penemu. Same in my case. Azazel respects him until he plans to make a new faction to worship him. Where I gave him what he deserved for such stupidity. Athena. On Olympus he is very loved since he defeated Ares and showed who he was. Amaterasu. Same with mine. He is someone to fear. Serafal. And for my part, he has the title of Mayu and well, we gave it to him since the old guys didn't want it. Claire. In short, Issei is someone very loved for everything he did and everyone respects him for being so humble. Issei. I really want to meet this Issei to see who will win. Vados. Boy, if you can't handle me, the less you can handle him. Issei. You are challenging me, beautiful lady. Vados. I'm just warning. Margarita. Issei was the god of destruction of an entire universe. Baruko. He was the shinobi god. Morelia. One of the great heroes being the strongest of all. Brunald. A killer of gods. The Office. The fourth dragon god. Brag 2. Wait, how is that possible? The Office. Baccarat and I gave it the title. Albion 2. But he must also go through the Dragon Kings and then us. Albion. That boy massacred Vali, sparing his life several times until he gave him no more chances and killed him. Breg. Same as my wielder and now I have someone who is much stronger than him. Ren. You want to fight, blonde, so I can show you that being by my side is better. Siko. Don't pay attention to the idiot, it's obvious that he's weak, it's just a waste of time. Claire. I know. Issei. Well, we got off topic and well we fought. Vados. If you want that, try it. Issei just formed a big smile and launched into the attack. Chap. 88. Issei went against Vados where she didn't even move from her place and when Issei was about to hit her, she stopped him with just one finger. Vados. You are very weak. Issei just smiled and jumped back and stretched out his arms towards her. Issei. This will be interesting. He attacked Vados wanting to hit her many times, but she evaded them very easily until after a few seconds she hit him in the stomach, causing him to spit out blood. Issei just fell to the ground holding his stomach. Issei. How is it possible my barrier should slow down your blows? Vados. It's an incredible skill, but to me it's nothing. You are very confident in your abilities and that is your ability. Margarita. You say the same thing that Issei told you on that occasion when he defeated us. Vados. Ha 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 ha, good thing is that we ran out of options at that moment and used all our power. Mikishin. Yes, and in the end they destroyed everything in their path, thanks to me no populated planet was destroyed. Issei. This will be interesting. Getting up and taking off her blindfold showing her blue eyes, after that she crossed her fingers. Issei. Domain expanse. Infinite void. Showing Vados many things where she was calm. Issei. You'll see. Vados. It's an interesting place and it's a unique skill. Issei. How come? Vados. I have lived many years and seen many things, this is nothing. Walking up to Issei and hitting him in front where they got out of the domain easily since she previously did it against Volley and got him hurt. Brias. What are you? Margarita. Very easy, we are angels. Michael. But I don't feel sacred energy in you. Margarita. Not those kinds of angels. I am of a race far above all of you. Surzich. They really came to this place. Alicia. Let's have a little fun. Pagaya. You say it as if we are coming to destroy everything although it doesn't sound bad. Mocha. Don't say that, we just came to see what the Issei of this place was like. Masako. And as we saw, he's a complete idiot. Issei. Hey, those words hurt. Masako. I don't care. Serafal. Leaving that aside, we'll go explore a little to see what things have changed. Leviathan. You can stay in my castle. Najir. Sounds good and we have a lot of time. Gabriel. Not so much, the truth is, I want to be home to wait for Issei, maybe he'll come back sooner. Kichigami. I'll tell them the time, don't worry. Brafia. So we prepare a good meal for her effort. Lucifuge. You act very different from what I am. Brafia. People change more if you have a family. Surzich. And Milik is what? Brafia. I like him and everything but he's not my son. Now I have daughters to protect. Michael. Don't tell me you're Gabriel fell. Gabriel. I'm not the same. Taking out his wings and showing a smile where some men present blushed. Prince. Well, leaving this aside, let's go. I'm bored of being in this place. Leviathan. Surzich left me, I see that everything turned out. Issei. And I'm painted or what? The fight is not over. Vados. Child, you better go to sleep. At that moment the entire group teleported and left the place, leaving a great silence where Issei got up and left the place. Meanwhile in the time capsule Issei was meditating to be able to adapt his rings to his new body and spiritual bones, where he has it difficult since it is a lot. He spent 2 years alone meditating until he managed to adapt everything again. Issei. It's been so long and I'm barely halfway through. I even lost count of how long I've been in this place, but well it's time to move on to the next thing. She stood up and took out her fox tails and ears, and then a black fire came out of her hands, and she also took out a small book that Usaka gave her, so that she could better manage her power. Issei. Well it's time to continue. Returning to the girls they were in the living room while a girl with pigtails looked at them. Serafal. Tell me what you want to ask since I know that expression. Leviathan. How can you all love the same person? Griselda. Things only happened at the beginning, it was just a friendship. Who knew? But over time he showed us his qualities and everything happened. Leviathan. I see but I have never seen some of you. Brunhild. Most of us are from other dimensions. In my case I met him while he was in a tournament and he helped me without asking for anything in return and even knowing the consequences that if he lost he was going to die, but in the end he won. Claire. I met him at the academy, at the beginning he humiliated him a little and then he gave me a lesson and over time we became friends and then a couple. Mocha. He was my first friend and when he left I missed him a lot until he came back and at that moment I promised to never leave his side. Naruko. Hinata and I knew him since we were little since he was our teacher and over time. Hinata. Our feelings grew. Pagaya. I come from the same place as them, only in my case I wanted to destroy their world. Margarita. We met him at a tournament that was about all the universes until there was only one left. Leviathan. Wait, that's a lot of information as it's possible to travel to so many places. Kichigami. In one of his battles he created a portal that sent him to another place, and when I found out about that I was going to return him to his own, but the truth is I was curious to know how he was going to behave in a world where there are only women. Leviathan. Wow, don't tell me he was happy in that place. Enterprise. None of that change helped us with our war. But he liked to bother a lot. Belfast. More so since he liked to see your smile since you were very serious. Leviathan. Wow. Serafal. The point is that Issei travels a lot and on his trips he manages to help without asking for anything. Many love him or hate him for that. Alicia. In my case he beat me up. And he helped me reflect since before he belonged to a group from Hades. Yukon. He showed me that he was not invincible. Lucina. He made me suffer the truth, but it was a small cost to know that he was the one. Ingvald. I was under Alicia's command, but Issei saved me and took care of me until I fell in love with him. It was love at first sight. Leviathan. I can see what the truth is, I'm very curious. Serafal smiled and took a photo of him where Leviathan blushed when he took it because of how handsome he was, even more so when he saw that smile. Leviathan. Wow. Griselda. It's not the only one. Leviathan. Too much I would say. Serafal. Ice-chan did a lot for us and we don't always like to leave everything to him. I left my position as Mag to take care of the girls. Leviathan. But, Serafal. I spent many years there, it was time to make my life too. But when the council members resigned, I wanted to marry Falbium, where he happily accepted, and after several discussions, we had a rating game where I won with their help. Isabella. They weren't a big deal. Siko. Hehehe, it was fun. Serafal. When Ice-chan found out he got very upset and was ready to kill the council and Falbium again, but we managed to calm him down, and in the end in front of all the factions he said that we are his. Lucina. It was embarrassing, honestly. Gabriel. But nice. Roswis. My grandmother wants to get to know him better now. They continued the talk for hours where Leviathan became more and more surprised, where most of the girls couldn't help but laugh at his expressions. Chap. 89. 1,000 years had passed where Issei continued training and was about to reach the end. Issei. Finally I don't have much left to finish now, I only need Shichigami. Taking out a small book and reading what he had to do. Issei. I have to create my own staff and think about the kind of place I want to go. Closing the book and taking a seat and closing her eyes where she began to imagine a cane and seconds later she appeared in front of him. Issei. Well now the only thing missing is the place. I take the staff and create a portal and as I do so I put it away and enter it. When he left, the first thing he noticed was a purple-haired girl in the distance and something was about to eat her. Without wasting any time, Issei moved at a speed that no one could see. She pushed the girl where all he saw was a golden color before he fell. While the creature opened her mouth wider and when she bit Issei all of her teeth were destroyed, leaving two people present in shock. Issei saw the creature seriously and kicked it, sending it flying away. The brown-haired girl was furious when she saw that and shot her from her mouth where the bullet only hit Issei and she instantly turned into dust. Issei. You better go now that I'm in good shape. Seeing the girl where she just took a few steps back and ran away. Issei went to the purple-haired girl and noticed that she had a wound on her shoulder. Issei put his hand on her and in a matter of seconds she was healed. Issei. You're fine. She slowly opened her eyes and noticed Issei's worried look. Yes, thank you very much. Issei just smiled causing the girl to blush involuntarily. At that moment Issei helped her up and a pink-haired girl approached her. Who are you and where did you come from? Issei. Hehehe, I was training until I heard some shots and screams and well I came. Something could have happened to you for doing that. Especially when that thing was about to eat you. Better said, as nothing happened to you. Issei. Things happen hehehe. And by the way, my name is Igarashi Issei, a pleasure. Again, to save me, my name is Shiel. I am mine and thank you for saving my partner. Issei. Well since everything turned out I left. Shiel. Wait, I still haven't paid you for saving me. Issei. Don't say that, I didn't do it to receive something in return, I did it because I wanted to. Shiel. Do you want to go with us? Mia. But what are you saying, he is someone unknown, he could be an enemy. Shiel. I don't think so since no enemy would jump to his death. Tell me Issei, your Tigu is having great stamina. Issei. Tigu? Mia. Maybe you are you acting like an idiot since everyone knows about it. Issei. I come from a very far away town and I came to the city to get ahead and help my family. Shiel. I see how long you've been here. Issei. I arrived yesterday and I'm trying to get ahead haha. Issei thought. I'm good at making things up haha haha. Mia. Fine but you will be under supervision since I still don't trust you. Issei. Okay. At that moment the three took off. Issei. Sorry, you don't want help with those scissors, they must be heavy. Shiel. I'm used to it really, and thank you. Issei. And what does he do? Shiel. Well with them I can cut anything. Issei. Seriously that's great. Mia. I have this weapon, it's cooler, no. Issei. Yes it is. Shiel. And you can use a weapon. Issei. A little of everything since in life you have to learn to get ahead. Shiel. I understand. Maybe your Tigu is having great stamina like my weapon, just maybe you got it without knowing. Issei. I guess but don't think about it too much. They continued on their way until they reached the place where those who were there saw Issei directly. Who is he? Shiel. Please everyone, calm down, he is Issei and he saved my life. What do you mean? Mia. If it weren't for Shiel would be dead right now and in a very horrible way. I see. Thank you for saving her, my name is Najenda, the leader of this place and welcome to Right Nate. I'm Bullet and you did a great job. My name is Leon and you're not a bad guy. Akame. Thanks for saving my friend. I'm Lubbock, how are you? I'm Tatsumi and you are welcome. Issei. Well, a pleasure to everyone and if you need help, don't hesitate to tell me. Najenda. We are wanted by the Empire, if you join us you will only have a lot of problems. Issei. Don't worry, I'm used to problems and my family always tells me to get involved in it hahaha. Leon. Since you insist, welcome to night Nate. Became. It's already late, we better go eat, yes. Shield. Since we have a new guest, we have to have a party. Everyone nodded and went inside and started the party where Issei got along with everyone from the beginning. The next day Issei was walking around the place until he heard a noise outside the place. And without thinking so much he went to the place and where he saw Tatsumi and Akame fighting with two wooden swords. Upon arrival he saw a little until Tatsumi fell to the ground defeated. Tatsumi stood up and saw Issei. Tatsumi. Hey, do you want to try? Issei. I'm fine, so you continue. Akame. I want to see your potential, so come. Issei. Okay. Walking to the place since he had the feeling that if he didn't accept they would insist. One of the members heard that and called the rest of his colleagues, where it didn't take them that long to arrive. Tatsumi. Wow, news spreads quickly. While Akame took an attack position like Issei. They saw each other for a few seconds until she launched the attack, and when she was about to hit Issei, she raised her sword and broke Akame's in half in seconds more, then he pointed his own at Akame. Akame. I lost. She said it in shock since everything ended very quickly. The rest of the members were in the same way since it was very fast. Tatsumi. Hey, who taught you? Issei. Since I was young I learned many things, and one of them is to use swords. I watched some fights and learned. Bullet. Hahaha, you are amazing. Maybe Akame would beat you if he fought straight and used his sword. Issei. Sounds interesting. Akame. It is dangerous for me to use it with my companions, they may get hurt. Issei. Because. Akame. Murasame has a curse that just with one rose a great poison will enter your body until it kills you. Issei. Interesting, I can see it. Akame. No. Issei. Just for a moment nothing will happen. Akame thought about it for a moment until she finally accepted and she removed the katana from her waist and showed it to Issei. He approached her and took her, surprising everyone since no one could touch her. Issei took it out of his case. Akame. Be careful. Issei didn't respond and then ran his hand along the edge of the katana, leaving everyone in shock. Akame. What did you do, idiot? Shield. Because you did. Issei just put the katana in his sheath and handed it back to Akame, as if it were nothing. Akame. How do you feel? Issei. I'm fine, don't worry. Showing him the hand where she didn't have any wounds. Mia. Like. Issei. What matters is that your katana is much more dangerous now since it has my blood. Leon. What do you mean by your blood? Issei. My blood is poison and for many years I received many types of poison that I had to endure and I adapted it to mine. Now your sword is more dangerous. Giving a big smile while the rest didn't know what to say for those words. Chap. 90. After the training where Issei faced Bullet and beat him. Minutes later the group went to breakfast and at the end Najenda became serious. Najenda. Esdeath has returned to the capital so your Leon go and observe her movements. Leon. Okay, this will be interesting. Najenda. Don't go causing any nonsense, you know she's dangerous. Issei. Who is Esdeath? Shield. She is someone very dangerous who has no mercy for anyone but hates us. Issei. I see. Najenda. Well, everyone has things to do except Mia who has an injured arm and Shield who will take care of her since yesterday she had a big battle. Shield. I'm fine. Najenda. I already said. Tatsumi and Bullet will go to the Rai scene to protect the person on board the ship. Issei. And me. Najenda. Go with Leon so you can get to know the city more. Issei. Okay. At that point the entire group separated towards their destinations. Hours passed and there were no problems with the groups where Leon and Issei found nothing wrong. Leon. Hey Issei, tell me you're not afraid that you'll be wanted by being with us. Issei. Don't worry about that, over time you get used to being chased. Leon. You talk like you're always wanted. Issei. Maybe so, hahaha. Where they continued on their way until Issei stopped and became serious. Leon. Issei, what's going on? Issei. It's Bullet. Leon was about to say something, but then Issei made a big jump and took flight, leaving Leon surprised by what happened. Issei was going at full speed where it didn't take him long to arrive, falling in front of a man in black and Tatsumi, upon seeing Issei, was happy. Tatsumi. Issei helps Aniki. Issei saw Bullet who had his armor a little destroyed. Issei. Relax, it's my turn. So more came. Bullet. I am. Issei. As long as I'm here neither of us will die. Healing all of his wounds, leaving Bullet surprised as he did not feel any pain. Issei. You guys go, I'll take care of it. Tatsumi. There are two of them, they are also strong, and they are Esdeath subordinates. Issei. Don't worry Tatsumi, you guys go home, I'll go later. Giving a smile where both boys nodded and left the place. How noble of you to sacrifice yourself so that those two idiots can live a few more days. Issei. As long as I'm alive none of my friends will die. Taking attack position just like the two guys with their weapons. They both launched an attack where Issei took both of their weapons and smashed them into pieces. Issei. I do not wish to drag out this battle. Hitting one in the face that completely destroyed it. When his classmate saw that, he got scared and was about to leave, but Issei grabbed him by the collar of his shirt. Issei. How ironic, no. You like to kill and you do it with a big smile. But when you are about to die you run like a coward. Breaking his leg where the man just screamed in pain. Later Issei made him look into his eyes where he was scared when he saw that look that only meant pain. Issei just put Hakai on his forehead and then released it. Seconds later the man began to scream a lot from the pain, while Issei didn't even pay attention to him. Hours passed and it was already night where Issei arrived at the house and noticed everyone outside. He was about to say hello until Shield went to him and gave him a hug. Tatsumi. We thought that. Issei. I promised and I kept it. Yulit. You are incredible and thank you for saving me. The truth is I was ready to accept my destiny. Issei. You are my friends and I do not wish to see death. Became. You managed to stop them. Issei. It was a very difficult fight, but in the end I won. Agenda. Now that everything has turned out, let's go to dinner. Everyone began to enter except Issei who was still trapped in a hug by Shield. 2 minutes later she separated from Issei and he was about to say something, but she ran away with a red face where Issei just smiled. The next day the group was training until Nagenda arrived with suitcases since she had to leave to find more help. Nagenda. Akame, you are in charge and be careful. Akame. Good. At that she left while the rest continued with their thing. A few days had passed where the group continued with their missions and Issei did several with other of his companions. Issei along with Tatsumi and Lubbock were in the capital. Lubbock. Esdeath has created a tournament and the prize is cash. Tatsumi. That's interesting. Issei. It may be a trap, this is sudden, really. Lubbock. Maybe so, but it's interesting and you'll do it well, Issei, since you're the most reckless of all. Issei. I don't know. Tatsumi. I would but the day of the tournament falls on the same day where I have a mission with Aniki. Issei. I'll do it well, so the money I earn will be given to you by Tatsumi so that they can send it to your village. Tatsumi. Seriously, but what about your village? Issei. The truth is, my village was destroyed and only 5 people survived and while we were coming they attacked us and well, only I survived. Tatsumi. I'm sorry and the truth is that something similar happened to me with 2 of my friends when they came. Lubbock. Well, let's leave the sentimental thing behind and then you'll do it. Issei. Sure, let's see what that tournament will be like. Upon returning to the base Issei was about to comment on the tournament but Lubbock knocked him down so he wouldn't talk. The days passed and the tournament arrived where they both went to the stadium and Lubbock went to the stands while Issei went to the place where the fighters would be. He wore a hood where you could see his excited smile as he wanted to fight. Minutes passed and the battles began while Esdeath watched everything from his throne. Are you sure you will find someone in this place to carry a new Tengu and could be in the Esdeath Sama group? Esdeath. I guess I hope I find the right one. Then it was Issei's turn where he was still wearing his hood and was facing his rival. So you will be my opponent, you are very weak and small. Issei. Just because you're taller doesn't mean you're stronger. Well, both of you are ready, it's time for the battle. Where the public began to scream with excitement and seconds later Issei's rival launched the attack being a man with the face of a bull. For his part, Issei just stood there waiting and when they were about to hit him, he evaded the blow with ease. Maybe you can only escape. Issei stayed still and his rival took advantage of that and went against Issei, hitting him in the face where everyone thought he would be dead. But at that point he just lowered his hood and many were surprised since he was blonde and very cute in the girl's words. Issei just took his rival's hand and threw him into the air where he jumped and kicked him and then when he fell to the ground, he picked him up holding his face and threw him out of the stadium, destroying the wall and leaving him unconscious. The presenter was in shock but came out of it when he heard some screams and declared Issei the winner. Where he just gave a smile where he put the victory sign. Esdeath since Issei's hood fell off was more surprised to see his fighting style and outside of him. When he saw Issei's smile he blushed at how cute he looked. Esdeath. I found it. To the person who could carry the Tengu. Esdeath. Also. Getting up from his seat and walking down the steps. Issei thought. So she is Esdeath, you can feel the bloodlust from her. Coming out of his thoughts where he had Esdeath in front of him. Issei was about to say something, but then she put a necklace around his neck where she surprised him as well as Lubbock. Issei. What? Esdeath. You are mine now. Pulling Issei where he just got carried away out of surprise since he wasn't expecting that. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.